Good morning, Xbox. Yes, good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 44 of Good Morning Xbox. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. It's Newf Nukem back in the room, ready to go. Panel is all here this morning and looking quite dapper and ready to go. We got some fire topics, at least I hope they're fire, and we got an amazing chat as always. But let's introduce the panel. I will start with the way they appear on my screen, starting first with the one and only man from Cell Block 22, Eternal Shaddai is in the house.
Good morning, everybody. This is your compatriot Eternal Shaddai, and welcome back, Axel. Are you feeling okay after missing last weekend? Back to normal?
All the headaches have subsided.
But I hope everybody had a great weekend. Ready for the subjects.
All right, next up, the only female representation on the panel, the one with the cool blue hair. It is Coolcat Terri.
All right, hey everybody. Hope all is well. Looking forward to getting into it today. So yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely. Coming in fresh from the land of yonder, it is Gandalf the Grey, Cerebral Paul.
Oh, what? Shut up. Oh, what the hell was that? That was like the worst intro ever.
Hey, I'm due for a bad intro from time to time.
Anyway, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday, I guess, because it's not Monday. And so let's go. Let's get to some topics.
Yes, it's not Monday. Not yet, anyway. So you can breathe, people. All right. Here he is, the voice of the iconic video games podcast himself, Mr. Axel1324.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry about the vacuum sound. I'm going to go close the door here in a minute. But yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, always excited to have you here, Axel. Welcome back after a week subdued, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, self-inflicted, if you will, but for a good reason. Had family in that I haven't seen in a few years, so
that's it.
Yeah,
I've heard now you've seen Halo Episode 3 and you saw Master Chief's ass, and then you want to go back to getting drunk again.
Yeah.
I don't know how many beers it's going to take, but it's going to take a lot more than I had.
And the man with the smoothest delivery in podcasting, Scrubner's in the house.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good to see you. Everybody in the chat, thank y'all for coming out. We got another Sunday to talk about games, and we got some great topics, so let's get started.
Absolutely. Let's catch up with the chat here real quick. As always, our good friend of the show, Doggy Dog 420, is the first one here live and ready to go. Thank you so much, Doggy. Always on top of things, tweeting this shit out even before I get up to do it. So thanks for that, Doggy. We always appreciate it, brother. You're wicked hot. My good brother is in the house. What is going on, my friend? It's been a long time since we played a game. Make sure you hit me up here soon, eh? BAC back from the dead. What's going on, brother? Good to see you here as well. We got Splendiferous in with us. We got Casket Repair hanging out here this morning. We've also got who else we got going on here? I think we're caught up, but no, Dragonheart Yobi's in the house. What's going on, Dragonheart? Crazy Greek Dude is here. Good to see you as well. We got Wild Bates hanging out with us. Metal Gear Squall. What's going on, brother? Hey, our good friend Invader Gaming is here this morning. What's going on, Invader? Good to see you, my friend. And I think now we're officially caught up. Let's catch up with the super chats real quick. I'll bring the first one up on the screen. Axel, would you like to do the honors? Can't hear you, Axel.
Yeah, sure. It's from my panel member here on the Iconic Video Game Podcast. Doggy Dog 420 says, "Happy Sunday and much love, Newf panel and chat." Heart emoji, coffee emoji.
Yes, we need the coffee. God dang, I certainly knew. All right, and second super chat of the morning comes in from our good friend, Mr. Peace, Love, Life, Dragonheart Yobi himself.
That one says, hashtag peace, love, life. Newf, I'm going to say is thank you. We want Terry, legendary nurse, Cerebral Paul, Shaddai, Axel. Keep making a difference, everybody.
There you go. It's little things
shout out to
that make a
Yobi.
big difference.
I'm very surprised that you didn't yell for the last one like you did last time.
Sorry, hold on. Keep making a difference, everyone.
Oh, that one came in hot.
Yeah.
It's the only hot thing this morning. All right. So let's jump right into the topic, shall we? And the first one, I don't know if you guys saw the article. Maybe I should have had it ready here, but I can't find it. But there's been some reports, and maybe this is more hearsay or speculation. Maybe whoever might be more familiar with this than me can certainly have the first shot at this. But there's talk going around that I guess Xbox apparently is paying the microchip, semi chip conductors or whatever to basically, put them on priority load. And maybe that's just speculation, because yes, there are a lot more Xbox Series S's, and almost seems like more Series X's right now out in the wild than we've seen in quite some time. So is there any truth to this? Is there any merit to it? I'll try to find the article, unless somebody else has got it with you, to pull up to read the details. But anybody think that's even logical, or if it happens? And ultimately, I guess, even if they are doing it, it's their money and they can do what they like, and that's business. So is it really all that bad, or is it just bad because a certain side of fanboys decided to go, well, this is terrible? Paul, you look like you want to jump in.
Not only is it logical and possible, but a lot of times the suppliers will have in their contracts, if you want to be a priority, pay XXX, and you will be get a priority on shipments. So it's not an uncommon thing in the business world. So it just because
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead. I'm sorry.
it's just that because of the shortage right now, everybody's going to be going, "Ooh, look at that! They're cheating. They're buying their way in." But it happens every day, shortage or not. It happens every day with all kinds of different supply chains. So I don't think it's a big deal.
Now,
So there you
the
go.
way I see it is like, yes, it is all about money. That's how business are. And also, you want to be pretty much first in your competition all the time. And it just this time Microsoft just came on top on this. So right now, whatever they invested in the past, right now they're getting pretty much paid right now in here in the future. It just they were pretty much well prepared.
So just to put this in context, okay, and thank you, Shaddai, for sharing that out in the private chat. This article, of course, shared with us courtesy of Pure Xbox. Here's one that says, according to the folks on the Xbox Era podcast, Microsoft actually did a deal to get chip priority for the Xbox Series X and S last year, which resulted in a greater availability of consoles, especially in the UK near to Christmas time. Around of April of last year, got a DM saying Microsoft's going to have a lot of consoles available this fall, and they did it, and they did in the end, didn't they? Microsoft paid for chip priority at the factories, which is why we saw so much more and are still seeing so much more Xbox stock now. To me, it's a smart investment, right? But why is it such a bad thing for some people?
It's a bad thing because it was Xbox.
Pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
That's basically what it is. Companies do this all the time. If you just look at electric vehicles, Tesla has dealt with chip companies and have paid for priority to get chips. They also have been paying for priority with different mines to get whatever raw materials they need to make their battery packs. We have exclusive rights to this mine for the next 5-7 years, and it is to help make sure you have the materials you need to bring your product out to the people, even during a shortage. It costs more money, but in the end, it helps you get your market share. It helps you put your products out, and it helps you keep your customers happy. And this is something that Microsoft has done, that they've just been forward looking, especially with the pandemic. They had the extra money to do it, and they have pulled that out, and I applaud them for it. Some people could say this is bullying. Some people could say this is cheating. But this is part of business. If you have supply, it's called supply and demand. And if you have the extra money to ensure you have the supply you need for the demand, that's just good business. And you can't fault someone for keeping their business up to par with what it needs. Like I said, Microsoft is not a place for we're your friends. We're your place to all gamers are welcome, which they are, but they are a business who have to work to satisfy their shareholders and their quarterly profits as well. So if they spend the extra money so they can sell more Xboxes for their next quarterly profit to show the income that they have coming in, why not do it? Why let someone else get that when you can be doing it for yourself?
Well,
Exactly.
if Sony would have done this, we'd be hearing how intelligent they were and how smart they were. That's
Correct.
the thing.
And people are are just mad because it's just something you want. If I wanted an Xbox and I couldn't get it because PlayStation had all the rights to the chips, yes, I would be mad. I would be disappointed. But at the same time, I wouldn't be going on Twitter saying, "Oh, this is not fair, PlayStation," because it's business. Because if that was the case, I'd been saying this is not fair for the last 10, 15 years when they're getting exclusive rights to this game, or it's a multi-plat game, but they won't go multi-plat for another year and a half, or Final Fantasy is supposed to come to all consoles, but you still hadn't heard a date when that's coming out. It's just part of business.
And
Well,
it was a great
well,
planning too. It was a really great planning by Microsoft for them to execute like this.
Yep. And priority doesn't mean they were getting all the chips.
Right.
Probably just means they were getting a higher percentage of the completed chips.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
so they
And
weren't cutting off the other companies at all. All the way.
Correct.
They were just making sure they got the prior, like say 60% instead of 50 or whatever. So really, it's like we've all said, it's business as normal. It's just in this situation, it has a magnifying glass on it.
Yeah.
Yes, and we've also heard that the silicon that Sony is using for their chips for their PlayStation, to where their PlayStation is clocked for all this different speeds and stuff. Sometimes the silicon is not up to par, and so you might have this amount of chips, but only this amount of chips are making it through, so you can build the PlayStation like you needed to according to specs. So that also drops down how many get into the wild. So I think it is a perfect storm of both of those two things coming together and showing why you have more Xbox than PlayStation.
Even Phil said it at the big. I think it was at the beginning that they're getting chips. I guess it's in a specific form that they knew that they were gonna get it later compared to Sony's. He even said it ahead of time, and people just keep forgetting what he said. Like everybody said, just because it's Xbox, people doesn't want to pay attention. But when a situation like this happens, now it's a problem. But lately, Microsoft be giving out ahead of time information to people that, well, this is, we're gonna deal with this. We're gonna get the chips, later on because it's made up in a certain way. So, I'm not surprised by this.
Yeah, thank you, Splinter, for pointing out that I sound like Gollum sometimes. But part of that is because it's part of it's because of my condition, actually, because my throat tightens up and it's hard for me to talk. So, but thanks. Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh, no. The chip shortage comes in many different ways for Microsoft getting the priority, whether they paid more or have a contract to secure more in the future. However they structured that could only be one piece of it. I believe the other piece is the yield, the chip yields. In order to make Series X chips, you need these many materials, and maybe they have access to those. And maybe to make the PlayStation 5 chips, the materials just aren't there yet to start manufacturing. So, of course, they'll push Microsoft forward on that. So, it comes in many different forms, and I don't think this is bad at all. Everything is a commodity these days. The materials for the chips themselves, and companies are going to put money into to be treated with priority. However they're going to deal with it, whether it be long business deals, more money up front, more business later on, whatever they do. We do this in my business all the time, where we just look at a spreadsheet and sure, little Shaddai Electronics over here wants some chips, but Big Daddy Microsoft over here is a much bigger account, and we're more interested in keeping Microsoft happy than we are in keeping someone smaller happy.
Right.
Just because they're ordering a lot more. Overall, if 60% of your business it comes from orders from one customer, you're going to keep your big gorilla happy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if people think that this is just a gaming industry that does stuff like this, then you're severely mistaken, as Axel alluded to. I mean, I'm pretty sure that McDonald's, for example, or various other fast food chains probably use some of the same beef suppliers. But don't tell me that, that beef supplier doesn't allocate a whole lot more perhaps for McDonald's, because they're, literally the biggest fast food chain in the world. And they probably buy, probably a good 60% more beef, per se. I mean, that's just speculation, but that's not unheard of. Like a lot of businesses run the same way. You always take care of your big customers first. You take care of the ones who have demand. And Microsoft is more than just, hey, it's just got to go in an Xbox. Like they've got several products that require components of the similar nature. So they're spending big dollars. I mean, Microsoft can probably float a lot of these companies with their orders alone, let alone competitors. And maybe this is a shot to the industry as well, that maybe you guys need to stop snuggling up the same manufacturer so much too, because they're both running. Everybody seems to be running with AMD right now, so why not go with a competing one and perhaps up production in other ways.
Now the question is,
just so you know, as far as the chips go, there's only a very limited choice of manufacturers for those chips in the world.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, SMP Electronics in Taiwan, I believe it's SMP. They make something like 95% of all the world's chips. It's a crazy number.
Yes, and that's why in the United States they put in plans to do 2 factories where they can build those chips.
Yeah, and I've watched
even when they do that, that's going to take years before they'll be up and running to where they need to go for
and at that
7 nanometer, 5,
about
3.
2%.
Right. So all of our chips, that's why we've had so many problems with everything. All of our chips are coming from one spot across the world. Most of our manufacturing has been coming from across the world. Yeah. So when you have ships stuck in California, they can't go through the ports. You have countries that have shut down because of different pandemic things,
situations. Yes.
They have zero tolerance, and factories are shut down. It starts to make a problem. That's why with Toyota, they've been putting out more cars than anybody at the time, because they had a stockpile of 2 years worth of chips just so they could keep putting their cars out. So there's different things like that. There was just forward thinking versus other companies.
So the question is this also considered a monopoly?
No, not even close. Not even close.
Right.
It was so funny, like, because California was taking so long. At one point, it was taking something like 2 months to get out. And I'm talking about my company, right? But we're fortunate to live here in DFW, where the airport itself has customs. So we could fly our stuff in and skip California completely at a much inflated cost. But, we still made money.
Yeah, and let's not forget that right now, like we're still coming out of the COVID years. Technically we're still in it, but I guess it's starting to pick up a little bit, I guess, in most places. But you got to remember that, and that's changed business. It's changed the way people have done business. We saw shipping prices increase tenfold, and as something that I learned from being in the retail right now with my boss in our store, is that it isn't going to come down to right now that price is king. It's going to come down to who's got inventory. Inventory is king, and if you got it, people are going to buy it, because right now it's hard to keep anything in your stores. We've seen an explosion in almost every facet of market this year. Like, I'm in the sporting goods retail, but obviously for the last years a lot of sports were shut down. So guess what's happened this year? An explosion in registrations and sports restarting back up, and parents getting all excited again. So if you weren't one of those people, like as Scrub alluded to with Toyota being forward thinking and having chips ready years ago, basically how it's worked out for us is whoever just had lots of excess inventory pre-COVID is the winners right now. Because trying to get anything is like pulling effing teeth. Because one thing is made in Taiwan, and one thing's made in Korea, and one thing's made in China, and everybody's waiting on this guy for that guy and somebody else. It's a supply nightmare right now. And then not to mention, like I said, the shipping stuff. So if you got stock, you're going to win. And that's part of the reason right now, why the Series S is enjoying some really good sales figures, because it is, and I've seen this. I keep going into my Walmarts. I still have not to this day seen a single console from the Series X or the PlayStation 5 in their cabinets. Not one. Not one.
Because they're in the back rooms.
No, the X's are starting. Going by my feed, the X's are starting to make appearances all over the world.
But what I will say, yes, it's going a little bit more in-depth nerdiness side of all of this logistic stuff. All these companies were actually, which is funny, were following a Toyota method of called just in time. You only had enough stock to be put out just in time before you put in your new order. You have 10 left of this one. That's when your new order kicks in and make it by the time you get to your last one.
Right.
And what happens is everything works out fine until you have a rush on everything. When the pandemic happened, stuff shut down, but then you also had a skyrocketing need of electronics. Folks need stuff to work from home. That's why you didn't have laptops. You didn't have televisions. You didn't have consoles. One, it couldn't get across the country or across the world, but two, everybody wanted one. And when
Remember,
you use a just-in-time
webcams became a hot commodity.
Yes.
Webcams were
And
the
when-
big thing.
Yeah, and when you're in a just-in-time market, you're only having enough to sell what you got to get to the next. That's when you get into this extreme shortage. And people were doing that to save money so they wouldn't have to have store warehouses of all this material and spend money to be able to sell when it. And a lot of people are now starting to go back to that because they're seeing how quickly it can disrupt the whole system.
Let's hear from, let's get some more feedback in here from Shaddai and Terry. Terry, how about you? Do you think that Xbox is being shady on this kind of sort of stuff?
No, it's just like it's like everybody else has already been saying. It's just business. You know, you got to do what you got to do to keep your business going and provide for your consumer base. A great way to look at it from the fanboys that want to make it an issue is, are you cheating out the other fans of a game when you're the one that's able to pre-order a limited edition collector's item? And once the pre-orders are sold out, they're not making anymore. It's no different. You're getting the priority on something nobody else can now get. So it's, whether you're in business and you put a priority order in for some sort of product that you need to make your stuff, or you're a consumer and you pre-order stuff or whatever. It's the same.
Yeah, and like I said at the beginning, it's pretty much that's pretty when you plan correctly and you're trying to you're trying to be the first against your competition. So for me, I'm not surprised by this. It was a great planning by them, especially when you're trying to market your console, especially at this very moment that the Xbox Series S is selling quite well at a cheaper price. So like I said, it's just great planning, especially in every competition you're gonna see this. So that's my opinion. It's just great planning. Even though they got the Microsoft have the deeper pockets. So yes.
So, are we, just because we're all on an Xbox podcast and we're Xbox fans, does anyone here believe that we are now labeled as the Xbox shills?
No.
Nope. If that's what they're taking from our opinions, then they're not listening. Then
That is correct.
Yeah.
Because that happens every time.
Yeah.
I think we've listed out our arguments based on facts and business methods, and we've used other examples to prove it. So if you want to claim that, then you're not listening or you're not trying to.
No, well,
we all have PlayStations. We all have other consoles, handhelds. So I don't know what else to say.
You can't own a PlayStation. It's impossible. You like Xbox.
Yes, I do.
I know. I don't care if you like God of War. You played Halo first. You're an Xbox.
It's so funny because
that's the main argument.
My friend. He's in the military and he's deployed. There's a lot more PlayStations overseas than there are right here.
Yeah.
So he secured me a PlayStation 5 and sending it to me in the mail.
Oh, see it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I got to pay all the import taxes.
That's gonna sting.
You bought two PlayStation 5s.
Yeah, I was about to
say
say
something to it. Still cheaper than scalping.
Well, with your 44% increase, hopefully your company gives you a raise to help offset that cost.
Oh, dude, we're at a breaking point. It's insane. Like we've all sat down with our bosses, and we're at a breaking point. We can't anymore. And this year we're projected to grow another 10 to 15%, and I'm just like, yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, when growth is great, but when it comes like at a expedited rate, nobody's prepared for it. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, like our business can handle it overall. Like we're not at capacity manufacturing wise. It's just that support group wise, we are. You know, there's a lot of paperwork that goes into what we do. There's a lot of manpower needed for what we do. Machines can't do what some of us do, or else, trust me, they'd be replaced. My work would not hesitate to replace them.
Let's give a shout out to the chat here real quick. We got at least I think I'm seeing some new faces in here. Roberta Delacarn, what is going on? Good to see you here. Rain G4 in the chat. What's going on, brother Rain? Good to see you. Dark Zone 2525. Good old John 907 is in the house. What's happening, John? Eric the Red hanging out with us this morning. Good to see you, Eric the Red. Who else we got going on? Dragonheart Yobi still hanging out with us as well. And the usual list of suspects from the look of things here. And we had another $2 super chat which came in, which I didn't catch, and it's from Splendiferous, who drops $2. Axel, I guess you can read this one out.
Yeah, Splendiferous is about me. Axel seems like his lungs are very strong, probably from my yelling.
Yeah, it's from the yelling.
It's from all the yelling. Great stuff. There you go. All right, guys. Any further thoughts on this, or can we put this subject to rest? It's not that big, but it's perceived to be big, you know, depending on how you look at it. And again, a lot of this is only exploited or sort of blown up with social media, and of course, it becomes another topic for you know, just the console war narrative again. You know, to make Xbox look like the bad guy, as it always seems to happen. So, any further thoughts, or we'll move the needle?
Eric, go ahead and put in.
Eric. Move along. All right, I'll leave it to Terry because Terry didn't say much on this. She kept it short to the point. All right, let's move it along. Let's perhaps touch on another small topic before we get into the indie spotlight this morning. I'll go with this one. Well, let's talk about this one real quick, and that is Tomb Raider. New Tomb Raider has been unveiled, or at least announced, by Crystal Dynamics, and it is coming to us this time via the Unreal Engine 5. So who is now super excited and through the roof, and what do you expect from the latest game, or what would you like to see in the latest game? Where do you think they're going to take the franchise? Will it stay the course, or you see them doing something kind of different, or is it just really going to be more of the same with a higher level of visual fidelity and realism that perhaps we haven't seen? And the last 3 games, by the way, looked awfully damn good. So, boy, oh boy. I, for one, am super excited, and I'll come back to that in a minute. So who wants to take the floor on this one first off?
Lara Croft.
Ready to go. All right.
Yeah.
You can have it.
Lara Croft, as everybody who has known me, she's Bay. She will always be Bay. And then Unreal Engine 5, I expect her to look even better than ever. The Tomb Raider series, I hope they make a sequel. I hope they continue the storylines they have going on. You know, they're a little more grounded than the originals. You know, in the first one, you got to fight a T-Rex and all that other kind of weird stuff, and did some actual tomb raiding. Whereas in this one, you were fighting an organization for relics, and sometimes that took you through tomb raiding or not. But I hope to see a more vicious Lara Croft than before, because as you know, in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, she finally became the Tomb Raider when she came out of the fire like the Terminator and just started killing. That was an epic scene. If you haven't played it, it made her look like the Tomb Raider. If they do get into that whole T-Rex style of tomb raiding that they used to do, I hope they weave it in intelligently. You know, maybe some sort of, I don't know, cloning process or something. Maybe it's a robot T-Rex. I don't know, something more grounded. And I'm hoping for a little more violent Lara. Maybe some better executions in Unreal Engine 5, because in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, you could hide, cover yourself in mud, hide on walls, come down like Batman, hang them up. Like it was epic. You know, you could jump them from high above. You could set booby traps. I mean, it was pretty awesome. So I just hope that they take that up another notch and maybe open up the arenas a little more, because sometimes you couldn't get through through them without killing them. And maybe this time you could just, if you don't want to kill them, just go through them. Go straight to the boss or something, unless it's super important that you have to kill everybody.
Actually, what would be a great move? Is when like sometimes when you're down on your last life, they should have a move that you upgrade to eventually in the game, where basically when she's on the last life, she does a low blow to a guy's junk, like gives him a big old uppercut. That'd be hilarious.
That would be so funny to hit him up with the Johnny Cage. Can you imagine Lara Croft doing the splits and just?
That would be hilarious, though. I'd love it. That'd be great.
Right in the stones. You got to say stones.
Guy just rolling over on the ground. I can hear it now. You had it coming.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. The puzzles. I think the puzzles have to be awesome. Like I remember my favorite puzzle in Tomb Raider in Shadow or in the Tomb Raider reboots was the one where everything was spinning and you had to climb up the spinning tower. The complexity and the timing. I loved that puzzle. Jason Max says, I want more puzzles, less fighting in Tomb Raider. I think they need to make it worthwhile. Like the puzzles have to be because like in the prequels or in the remake, a lot of the puzzles were relegated to the side tombs you could find, not so much the main quest. I hope they put puzzles in the main quest as well. So yeah, that's what I hope for the Tomb Raider. I expect it to look better than ever. Get some ray tracing in there, 4K, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And better outfits, I think, would be nice too. Because when I could put Lara Croft like in the second one, Rise of the Tomb Raider, when I could put her in skimpy clothes in the snow, while that was cool, it wasn't appropriate for the location. I like the Shadow of the Tomb Raider's approach better,
right?
Because every outfit was just a variation of the environment.
Gotcha.
So I like that a lot better.
Right. Okay. Nice.
Right?
Well, great take from Axel. Obviously, a lot of Tomb Raider love there. Let's go up to Coolcat Terri on this one and get her perspective on the iconic franchise and where they're going. And if you guys saw the official Tomb Raider Twitter page, I don't know if this is a hint as to where they're going, but it does show a picture of Lara sort of back on with the sort of the iconic outfit that she started with, sort of that green top, and you see the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Mm-hmm.
So if that is, now that could just be a regular banner, but I would not be surprised, because don't forget the original trilogy that we just played, the sort of reboot, is sort of becoming Lara Croft. It's basically essentially the events leading up to the original Tomb Raider. So perhaps that's where they go now. It's like the official launch into the first game. So perhaps it's essentially a remake of the first game, but on a much grander scale. But anyway, let's find out how Terri feels about it.
All right. I mean, I'm kind of there with Axel and in the most part, because when it came to the Survivor trilogy, I mean, yeah, that's what it really was. It was more about survival and Lara becoming who she is, and tomb raiding wasn't really part of the game. It was an optional feature that was in there. You could literally play the whole game and not raid a single tomb if you chose.
Mm-hmm.
So I really hope now that she's she's finally become, the Tomb Raider, that we actually do tomb raiding, because it's like that is a huge part of what what made the franchise great. Is to do more of that. It needs to be more about the archaeology and finding the artifacts and stuff. Because I mean, it was fun having more of the action, adventure, but yeah, we need more tombs. We need more puzzles. We need creative puzzles. I'm a big puzzle gamer myself, and one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to these kind of games, for both Tomb Raider and Uncharted, they're both guilty of doing it. They get very lazy about their design when it comes to puzzles. What I mean with that is they do the same theme. More often than not, your puzzle is going to be either a light puzzle where you have to just move light beams around, or it's going to have to do with water, or they'll just combine the two. So it's just I want something that doesn't involve light. I know I'm tired of light puzzles. They're overplayed. So I really want them to really, become creative with their puzzles. I don't want to keep, moving shadows and light beams and crap around 100 times in one game. It's just it's not enough. Some people might be, cool with that, but when you play a lot of puzzle games like me and you're doing the same kind of puzzle and they're just changing the concept a little bit, it gets boring fast.
Terri, what if they took this approach? What if they took an approach where, there's at least a certain part of a puzzle or perhaps a main puzzle that in order to complete the quest, what it is, like a lot of games, they have unnecessary side quests. But in this game, essentially, you could literally be going to different parts of the continent to find pieces that you need to complete, say, the end puzzle. So, perhaps the end puzzle, you see that right in the start of the game, right? And you obviously there's things that you need, but you're like, I can't do the puzzles unless I have the pieces to do the puzzle, and they're all on different parts of the world, the continent, and you have to go track them down. Would that something like that be kind of cool?
It would depend because I feel like that's going to do is that's just going to create a lot more busy work with backtracking, and I don't have no interest in backtracking.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a game like Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider's usually been more. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to go all the way back to the start to go and find something that I didn't have the tool for to access a little hole in the wall. I don't want to do that.
I think if they made it clear up front
to make that happen, to make you come back around every time to the same spot, that would have to be some level design on an epic scale.
I think what he's saying more like a waypoint. You first have to go to this place in the Amazon and find such and such.
Yes.
And when you find that with the puzzle, okay, now you have to go to the Yucatan Peninsula and get this artifact out of this tomb to be able to get to you. I understand with that. I like that.
I don't know how that would make sense in a story. Like how would in a story scope would a puzzle in one location have like the writing would have to make sense for them to have components for a puzzle in completely different, like you're not going to find components in a Mayan tomb in like an Egyptian tomb. There's no way that those would correlate in any shape or form other than some modern day.
Okay, we need 3 of these mystic gems, and they're hidden across the world. And these gems are the only thing that open these doors.
So now we're gonna do the most generic thing in like every anime game out there. No,
I know how this is all going to work out, guys. I got the answer. Aliens, ancient aliens.
Yes, pieces of Eden, like Assassin's Creed. You got to find pieces of Eden in different places. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. But you go to different places and grab different stuff. And
do you think you guys do you think the new game, then Terri, do you think it will stay in the same direction in the semi-open world aspect that the last 3 have sort of done, perhaps on a grander scale, or do you think they're going to finally give in like everybody else into this whole open world 500 fetch quest kind of deal?
I hope they don't do that. I mean, they haven't been like very open world. It's been very linear. Like the map areas you go in have been pretty small when it comes to exploration. Right. I mean, if they keep it like that, I'm fine with that because for me, I want to have the really good story. They have to have really good environment design. The parkour has to be top notch. There has to be good instances where you have to fight something, whether it's wolves or whatever they decide to have. They have a good flow. The games are very enjoyable. It's just when it comes to what Tomb Raider is with the Survivor trilogy, they didn't have tombs really, and then when you did have the tombs, like I said, they were 100% optional. And I mean, and honestly, they didn't really have that great of puzzles in them. It was mostly you had some swinging stuff, jump past it, climb over a wall, slide down, and you were done. It needs more creative puzzle design. I'm not going out. They don't have to go out of the way and make it over the top complicated like the original God of Wars, where it took you 3 hours to figure out how to move one ball. They don't have to do that. I just want it to be more creative to where it's not like you're doing the same thing in every single tomb. They just,
right.
You know what I mean? I just want more variety.
Right. Same window, different drapes, right?
So it's just what it is. But with Unreal 5, it's gonna look fantastic. I mean, the survival series already looked fantastic for what they those games looked amazing. So it's just, they already have that covered. It's just, for me, it's not so much about, okay, they have Unreal, they can make, it look more realistic and pretty. I don't care about that. I just want, better quality gameplay with better puzzles. And, I don't want, I want the action, but I don't want it to become like Uncharted, because Uncharted is more about action than it is the exploration, whereas Tomb Raider has always been more exploring and stuff with action in it, because if they start making it too over top actiony, then it's just going to be Uncharted. And I can go play Uncharted for that. I don't want it to be Uncharted. I want Uncharted to be Uncharted.
Right.
Okay. So try to keep to what Tomb Raider is: more exploration, more puzzles, some good action when we need it, and I'm content.
See, I being a fan of both franchises, of Uncharted and of Tomb Raider, though, I'm gonna give this to Tomb Raider. The actual mechanics, the playing of the game, to me, it trumps the Uncharted. That's the one area where this game has trumped Uncharted, because to be honest, Uncharted's shooting and those mechanics is still the weakest part of that franchise. To me, they still don't feel quite right. You know what I mean? Like a little bit just weird compared to some other games. But I think Tomb Raider did it really well, and I like how Tomb Raider sort of forces you in a lot of cases to kind of get up close, get very visceral with your enemies, where it seems like Uncharted kind of feels a little bit like, hey, duck behind a block and shoot as many things as you can and then run to the next block. Kind of a little bit of a Gears of War vibe, so to say, with Uncharted. And then I always laugh at the people that go, well, Uncharted, Tomb Raider copies Uncharted. Dude, the original game was Tomb Raider, man.
Yes.
Uncharted was born from Tomb Raider, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Anything, if you wanted to nitpick, they both copied Pitfall. So, I mean.
Yes. And spawned from inspiration from Indiana Jones, right?
Yes. And then grew. Yeah.
There's a copy of everything. But I'm with Terry, but the stuff that she explaining, that's where I see Tomb Raider probably for the first time being an open world. Because remember, she's an archaeologist adventure. And by having an open world, I just wanted to explore a lot of things. And it's not something that in reality you're not gonna stuck into one place. You gotta go here and there trying to combine puzzles or anything that you want to find. So for me, the new Tomb Raider should go open world, but stay, like Terry said, just stick with your what Tomb Raider is good at. The Tomb Raiding, a lot of good puzzles, a lot of adventures, and also since a lot of the studio is going for Unreal Engine. Look what happened with the new Coalition, how they showed the tech demo. Mm-hmm. So we already know, we already have a glimpse of it. So I know it's gonna look good, but I wanted it more an open world, a lot of puzzles, just have it balanced in every form.
Right.
That's how she is. And be lethal like she always have been. Like she doesn't, she doesn't give you any breaks when something happens, but make it also a great story about it.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Who else wants to jump in? Scrub, Paul.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I always laugh about the lethality of Laura Croft when in the store she's like, "Oh, I feel bad. I don't want to kill." But then when you go back, in the cinematic, and then when you go back with her, you're just slicing and taking people's head off, and it's funny, the dichotomy of that. But
she likes to contradict. Yes,
exactly. I don't want to kill, but I had to survive, so I killed 45 people while I snuck around. But I kind of like the way the game is set up right now. I do not want it open world. There's too many games open world. Not saying they can't do it Unreal Engine 5, but I think especially their first go around with it getting really in depth, I think that'll drag it out too as far as creating the game. I think the way they have the maps and the story, how you go into different where, yes, it's pretty much linear, but you have your ways where you can veer off. And then too, to me, when you have all the different puzzles and the tombs you go in, that makes it give that feel of breaking up that linear walking through the map. The thing that I would like just a little bit less of is having to do the crafting. Like, oh, you got to go get this deer to get this kind of
But that's how
skin,
you
and
need.
then
That's
you
how you
need.
survive.
Yes, of course. That's why I say I just want a little less of it. It's not always you got to have to
Right.
craft. You know, you've done games where you didn't have to craft, which it's fun. I just said I just want a little less of it.
Mm.
I love the puzzles. I do like the fight and the combat. I think it has a good balance of that. To me, if you took maybe about like 10% of the crafting off of it, it would be pretty good. I want to see what the Unreal Engine can do as far as the graphics of the game and the fidelity of the game. Does it need to have ray tracing? I don't think so. If you want to put it in there and say you want to do PC just crazy max settings, fine. But I would like to have it in 4K. Definitely 60 frames. If you can't make it 4K, fine, 1440, and give me 60 frames, and I'm a happy boy. And say, if you make it for PC, yeah, you can go crazy with 100 FPS and max settings, ultra, this ray tracing. But yeah, give the options if needed. If you want to have a performance mode, based to quality mode. But I think what we have seen with what they put out with Unreal Engine, they can do some top notch quality stuff. It's just going to make games pop even more. It's just going to give that wow factor. And we've seen that with how well they've done with the last couple of Tomb Raider games. The games just look beautiful. It feels good, especially with the cutscenes dealing with, the weather effects and sliding through the mud and crawling and hiding behind the animations when she's taking down enemies, the use of the bow, and how far you hold back the strings and how long affects it. I like all those different animations that's going in the game. These games are great games. I don't think it takes much to improve on them. I don't think that a lot of people sometimes say, oh, it has to have this, it has to have this, it has to have, but the game was already great. Why does it have to have 1,500 things more? All it takes is a little bit tweaking and you can make a great game still great, but you just upped it to a different console, a different generation. So
I heard
I'm
they're going
pretty.
to copy God of War, and she's going to have a little sidekick, and there's going to be a little kid, and he's going to be like, "Hey, come on, you
Mom,
can't
Yeah,
like
but
Xbox."
mom,
and
mom.
That would ruin it for me so fast. Like I couldn't
and you're gonna
stand that kid.
and you're gonna
God,
take
I
away
would
jumping.
purposely
Yeah,
kill that kid.
yeah, take
Yeah.
take away jumping. But
You guys
yeah,
don't like me.
my thing with Crystal Dynamics is this is the only thing, and this might be jumping to another topic or other thing. With them announcing that they're going to do a new Tomb Raider, how will this affect them working with Perfect Dark? Is this something they're just announcing and they're just in the beginning phases, or are they hiring more people to split this up? Or they're going to do Perfect Dark first, then Tomb Raider? There's a lot of questions with that. I don't want one game to come out to affect another game. You know what I mean? I don't want the quality of the Perfect Dark game to be less because we're working on Tomb Raider, or vice versa. We're working on Perfect Dark, so we pushed out just some random stuff with Tomb Raider because of Perfect Dark. So I hope there's a balance in that, and both games come out as best as they can.
No, we
It could
don't
just
need
be
short round from Indiana Jones, people. No short round. Yeah.
Let's say the
Oh.
like Scrub. It very well could just be the like the story writing team. They might be done making the story for Perfect Dark, so
I hope so.
just have them start getting the story made so they can start making the asset.
Well,
Yeah,
what'd
that's
be
a good
really
point.
cool though is if they actually did. I've said this about Uncharted many times. What if they actually made a co-op Tomb Raider game? which is probably not going to happen, especially coming out and building on a new
I
engine. but
actually
think it'd be
would have
really
been
cool.
open to that because when you played, not so much the other ones, but the first one in the Survivor trilogy, you always, you always had like, like your companions from the ship kind of around.
Yeah.
They could have made that co-op and it would have worked just fine. It's just the same time when it comes to like some of the purist fans, they're used to Tomb Raider being always single player.
Yeah, because it's the same thing with Dead Space. When they put co-op, it felt really different.
The only issue with it is because the way that they had the survival thing, like I said, it was a smaller map and it was more linear. So if you're trying to climb somewhere and get somewhere, and then you have your buddy, jacking off behind you for however long, fall behind. Now you can't move forward or something because because it's certain parts when you get to something, instances would happen. The instances would happen where cutscenes would happen, or you get instantly thrown in a fight. So if your friend's way back there, and now all of a sudden you got thrown in a fight, are they going to get rubber banded to you? Now they're in the fight, and now they missed everything in between, or are they just going to be left out?
Right.
Yeah.
That's an issue that would run into a game with the way it's designed.
Yeah. So they have those top-down Tomb Raider games where you could play co-op. Obviously, a totally different.
Yes, I love those ones.
Like Trials of Osiris.
Temple of Osiris was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was very well done, and that one actually had some decent, puzzles in it, that were a little bit more creative.
Right.
You had to work together to actually solve them. You couldn't just do it yourself and have your friend watch. So.
Okay.
Actually, I want to speak to something Axel said real quick. A Tomb Raider does not need full open world, nor should it be ever full open world, because when you're going on an archaeological hunt, you're not just randomly wandering around from place to place. You usually have a set target or generalized area. There's no reason to be looking around for other stuff because you're focused on, I'm trying to get from point A to find this thing. Maybe I have to go solve some puzzles, get some hints somewhere, but they would be close by. You wouldn't be marching all over North America looking for one little artifact. You would have a very narrow scope of search. Yeah, so there's really no need for them to go open world in this game.
Right.
But nowadays, everything is open world.
That's right.
It wouldn't be surprised.
But it wouldn't fit any story really for an archaeological person.
Right.
There's no
but the
reason
story
to
is
do
one
that.
thing, but trying to do adventure is another. So
The game is the story.
Yeah,
the story is the game.
All the stories are all the games are story driven. They're not just open, run around, do anything you want. They're always very focused.
If they mimic the Indiana Jones movies where she goes to like South America and then they show the little plane on the map going, and then all of a sudden she's in South America and hey, I gotta go to the Antarctic and the little plane goes back. Something like that would be kind of funny. I think it'd be kind of cool and a homage.
Some games have done that. Some games have done that, and
the Carmen San Diego games did that.
Yeah,
we're in the
I
world.
love those games.
Fly around.
I always thought they missed their chance to make Where in the Hell is Carmen San Diego, and they could have done a whole other thing. But
well, I'm with you, Paul. I hope they certainly don't go down that road, and probably not building with a new engine. That may be quite daunting. But I mean, if there's one thing that I have a problem with, say the game Horizon Forbidden West, for example, that is my biggest gripe with that game is that yes, while it is better than its predecessor in most areas, it's also, to me, it's daunting. It's big. It's a huge game. And I feel like it's just like it's trying to be more than it needs to be. And you start to kind of get like, I got to go over here again, and I got to go over here again, and I got to build up my crap again. I'm like with Scrubners. You know what? These games got to stop acting like they're always the first game in a series and start remembering there is games before it. So essentially, perhaps, when you come into that game, if you're a veteran, maybe all the save files that you have should carry over to all the games, aka something like a Mass Effect. So when you get into that third game, you're already skilled up. You're already leveled up and ready to go. Not kind of like, oh, now you got to build up my guns again, and I got to find all the parts again, and I got to learn how to reuse a bow again, and you're doing everything from scratch.
I don't think they'll ever do that.
You should feel like when you're at the third game in a series, you should start feeling like an absolute badass and not like, oh my God, that training wheels again. What the hell?
Well,
those
should always be optional. That should
Yeah.
always be optional because there could be somebody coming in who may not remember the controls or may not remember certain things, and so
Or
they
didn't
want
play
to-
the first game.
Yeah, that's what they're
I
doing.
mean, how many,
They're
how many times
maximizing.
how many times have you picked up a game that has a series and you didn't play the first one? You started with like the third. All
Yeah.
right, so I mean that would not be a
Yeah.
Every game should have a recap, and then every
Yeah.
game should say, "Would you like to carry over save files?" Yes, if you can. If they can detect you had an older save file, then you can pick up where you left off.
But
Previously in Tomb Raider.
Yeah. But as annoyed as I can get at the hand holding that happens at the beginning of most games, I understand why they do it because not everybody's in the same position
Right.
I'm in. Yeah, so
Exactly.
so I kind of let it go. You know, I'm like, okay, let's just get through
They
this.
can have
damn
the
part.
option to skip the tutorial, like Gears of War is like, hey, do you want to learn how to do this stuff,
Yep.
or do you want to just get into it?
What's funny
You
is
know,
a lot of people I know that do that. They will purposely skip the tutorials. Then they're asking me later, how do I do this? Oh, I didn't know I could do that. I'm like, well, dummy.
Oh, yeah, I
if
do
you
it all
want,
the
if you,
time.
if you
We're
want
like-
to play the
we're
tutorial.
like, did you play the tutorial?
No,
No.
not only-
Yeah.
I'm like,
And
not
"Oh,
only
I'm
that-
gonna go figure
not-
it out. I'm not telling you.
not
I
only
played
that,
the
it,
tutorial."
not only that, especially when you're achievement hunting, that you really have to do the tutorial automatically. You're like, oh no, really? So you're like,
Mhm.
thank you for doing the tutorial. I'm like, oh my god.
Sometimes they'll hide something in the tutorial, so if you
Yeah.
skip it, now you're not going to get your 100%.
Yeah.
You a casket repair road. Jonah not squeezing into some of those places like Lara Croft.
So
I can hear him
That's
now.
facts.
Lara, you go ahead, Lara. I cannot get my leg through this hole.
Yeah, pretty. I wait for you at the fort. She
Yeah.
got to do the whole everything.
Stop eating those damn cookies, man.
he spent most of his time, and I think it was the third one anyway, just flirting with that girl. So, he had his own priorities.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Mhm.
Yeah, and in the second one, it was more in the fort, and the first one, he was always at the boat, so he was useless.
Yeah.
He was useless.
Jonah's smart. Okay, I don't know what y'all talking about.
I understand that. If you're not good at tomb raiding, yeah, stay away from it. So
Absolutely.
Hey, Splendiferous has a super chat.
Oh, okay. Let's get to it.
oh god.
Okay, here we go. Let's see what Splendiferous got to say here.
He says, they want to make Laura a sad mom like Kratos is. Why?
Wait.
She becomes all bitter.
Yeah, my
She's
Boy.
got 3 kids now and stretch marks, and she's mad as hell. Yeah.
Wait, Kratos is a sad mom? There's something about that game I miss.
mom.
Well, after Kratos left Athens or after Greece setting,
Yeah.
maybe he became a tranny. I don't know.
I mean, it also depends. Are they using the same Lara from the Survival series, or are they starting fresh with a whole new Lara? We don't know that.
Right.
They could have just ended it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Were they using Unreal Engine 4
Yeah.
before?
I'm not even
No,
sure
I think they were
I think
using
it's-
their own
Yeah.
engine.
Because if they were using
Yeah,
their
I
own
think you're
engine, they
right.
probably have to create all new assets.
That is correct.
I think you're right. I think they used their own whatever the heck it was, but I don't think it was.
Isn't it? It was crying. Whatever. It start with a C or something.
CryEngine?
No, not CryEngine. It was something.
No,
else.
not CryEngine, but God, I'll have to
No,
look
it's
it up.
something else. I forget what it is. And for me personally, look, I'm super excited. I mean, this is the best news I've heard in a couple weeks because I'm obviously a huge fan of the franchise in general, but the last 3 games like really brought it to this whole new pillar for me. Still 3 of my favorite games on any generation of console, like just because how well they were done from start to finish. Like the second game was just better than the first in almost every aspect, and then and that third game, people are going to write it off because it wasn't Crystal Dynamics that was directly involved. It was I think it was Eidos Montreal. I think that had most to do with the third one, but Eidos like killed it, man. Like they did an amazing job. Like it didn't feel like a whole new team did it. It was just different setting and it looked better. Like it was the best looking game in the series. It was just obviously like I liked the second game a little better. I think I would prefer the setting and sort of the story aspect a bit more, but like it was just so well done. And I'm really excited to see where they take this new one. I think they should keep it fairly linear. I would like to see, like you guys have mentioned, a little bit more little bit, like I said, maybe not so much shooting anymore, a little bit more on the discovery and the puzzles and stuff like that. You know, even something really cool, like undiscoverable puzzles that you wouldn't think about. Like you'd go somewhere on the map, perhaps you'd fall through like a cavern in the ground or something like that, but maybe the odd person wouldn't know where that is. He's not even on the map. Just like something that you discover out of the blue, just by going around and straying off the beaten path. Oh yeah, she falls through like, you know, a trap in the ground or something that's been buried for years or something like that, you know, and you know, not the same old and fighting, what do you call it, the Trinity all the time. You know, maybe there's a new group in, change the story up a little bit. You know, the whole thing, if they're going to go back to the original game, like, that's going to be interesting, because obviously, you know, when the original game, she ends up on a freaking island, there's still dinosaurs, right? I mean, that was amazing. You know, on the Sega Saturn, playing that for the first time. Yes, the original. That's where I played it, Sega Saturn. Shout out to the Saturn. I remember how cool that game was. I mean, yes, the controls right now is the reason I can't go back and play it, because the controls are more frustrating than anything. The old 8-way D-pad style tank controls. But you know, playing the game, the exploration was so good. The original game, you weren't shooting a ton of stuff. It wasn't a lot. It was a lot of traversal, a lot of figuring out the puzzles, a lot of pit jumping. And of course, like I said, that was one of those
lots of rope swinging in the original.
Lots of rope swinging.
Lots of rope swinging.
Yep, lots of falling to your death too.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, I wasn't completely at the edge of that damn pillar. Down you go.
No,
Usually it's you jump at the rope and you hit the button and then they don't grab the rope and you're like, I was right on it.
Or down the
my favorite part was reaching for the ledge, and you see your hands go through the ledge. And you're like, I grabbed it.
Yeah.
You know,
like, right there, back her up perfectly, that perfect position, get those 2 steps or 3 steps or whatever the heck it was, and then make the run for it. And like, come on, Betsy, you know. But you know, seeing that Tyrannosaurus Rex and those raptors come at you the first time, I mean, like, that was almost one of those moments where I literally crapped my pants. I said, man, this is freaky, this is awesome, and the sound effects and stuff. But yeah,
like, in game 3 though. Dinosaurs,
no,
I think, are in the third one.
No, there was dinosaur in the original Tomb Raider.
Yeah, you could go to the dinosaur almost instantly in the very first.
That was early. Yeah, that was fairly early. I mean, the first thing you had was, I think, the tiger, wasn't it? You drop into the pit. There's like a tiger down there, and then you had some bears and bats and a few things like that.
That's why
I remember the
open worlds.
Bats. It might have been wolves and bats, but the T-Rex, you could go. I believe it was right into one of the square tunnels, and you came out into a forest, and then all of a sudden here comes a big old T-Rex, and you're just like, oh my god. What do I do? And you start shooting panically. Well, maybe this is only what I did. I just start shooting, panic roll, and end up dying. I don't know where to go.
Yeah, yeah, you're just rolling around. I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Oh my god, you know. And rolling, of course, did nothing back then. I just did it out of panic.
Yeah, and if you really want to play the game, go back to the original, but play it. You can play the Tomb Raider Anniversary, where they basically updated the game with the modified Tomb Raider Legend engine. I think they used, went back and rebuilt the entire game. From that, again, there's a great way to do an actual remake with all new graphics, but the same game that you knew and loved, but just again updated for the 360 era. And I have that on my back compat stuff. I shouldn't need to get back to it. I never did finish it up. But yeah, that's, you know, I just hope that they kind of keep it on track, and most importantly, that the character just gets more fleshed out and is more real. And I think that's what we're obviously going to say, dude. Like the textures, and I would imagine the facial animations and stuff are going to look amazing. If they try to get up to the standard of the new Hellblade that we're seeing, my God, my jaw is going to be on the floor. I think we all will feel the same, and I hope that the series does well, because to be honest, I'm a little shocked they're even making a new one. Because it just doesn't seem like, for whatever reason, the franchise doesn't get the love and respect it deserves. Everybody always talks about Uncharted and how good this game or that game is, but really, like, when I was buying the Tomb Raider games and I was playing them religiously, I'd be looking through my friends list. It's like, nobody freaking playing them. Like, there's like a handful of people that seem to play them, and everybody else is like, oh, I got to come back to it, or they just wouldn't play them until years after the fact. I mean, I know people out there right now is actually just going back and playing the original game now for the first time, like the 2013 version and stuff, or and it's like, why are you taking so long to play this amazing franchise? It's just doesn't get the love, and I don't even know what the sales. I don't know if anybody else actually has the sales numbers. I mean, they obviously must be good enough to give them the green light, but I mean, with the history in the last couple of games of Crystal Dynamics and everything at Square Enix, like, it's kind of shocks me because they've been throwing all their teams under the bus, and it seems like they got lofty goals, and I don't know. It just seems like Lara Croft doesn't get the respect and love that she truly deserves when it comes to other franchises out there that just get automatic like praise. Maybe I'm wrong here.
I think it's because of the action. Uncharted is, like I said, it's more action heavy versus traversal. With the way gamers are today, most of them just like playing, quick action shooters. So it's easier for them to get into Uncharted than play something like Tomb Raider, where it's a lot more traversal than
right.
Yeah, like for me, when I saw that in general, I just wanted it to be like, let's have the real adventure. Let's explore everything, not like just have your puzzles, just have this, just go here in one place, go to another. And that's why for me it should be an open world for the first time. Let's explore, let's experience the true adventure,
right?
With the right puzzles, with the right like you guys say, you guys announce dinosaurs. Why not when we're trying to cross and the dinosaur wants to, trying to engage with you when you're trying to cross the field. So be real, let's be real into that. I know a lot of people doesn't like something like that, but sometimes it's good to have a little bit of a change like that. We already seen it with Horizon, not only Forbidden West, but it is, I don't know, for me it's better off like that. Just be as real as you can be, but don't change any other formula what made Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Stick to your own guns and don't copy anybody else. Other people should be copying you. Yeah.
But it's hard to, I'm not gonna say hard to create something, copy from others, because pretty much that's what made them success. But yeah, just be original and all that. But I wouldn't be surprised if, let's say, if they created Tomb Raider exactly like if it was the PS1, but a little bit different. Just add a couple of things. I wouldn't be surprised by it.
As long as it's not cutscene crazy, just to
yes.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's my biggest.
That's what I'm
I love
worried about.
Oh my god, yes.
I love Uncharted, but that's my biggest gripe with Uncharted is they become too cutscene heavy.
That also, like Metal Gear 4. Oh my god, more cutscenes, less gameplay. Sons of the Patriots. Yeah. Oh my god,
that's a Sony trademark. You got to have a big movie in between every level.
Yeah, but come on, we don't need that. We don't need that.
My favorite part of cutscene heavy games that a certain publisher makes is that you can't kill bosses with guns and explosions. You got to kill them with your fist. And only your fist. Apparently, you shoot at them 1,500 times and somehow they don't die. You lose your guns, but you can beat them down. So, yeah.
There's
Paul got so excited talking about Tomb Raider, he had to go to the washroom. Hey, Mr. Tushy's in the house. Whoa. And our good friend Assassin Lupa. Hey, you know who's here? The man who always gets a special introduction, which I can't say because Paul's not here. He normally does it.
John Dunmore.
What the hell was that?
I know, right? I know, right?
That was the weirdest Joe Dunmore I've ever heard.
Yeah, I know, Paul Dunmore. Yeah, he does.
You're trying to do the Sofia Vergara version. It's John Dunmore.
Yeah, John Dunmore.
Yeah, John Dunmore.
Hey, good friend Percolator's in the house. What's going on, Perky? Perky drops a super chat, $5. Go ahead, Axel.
Percolator says, "Good morning, Newf Nukem and the rest of the panel. Just here for you to take my money. Great show, everyone. And yes, the coffee is done."
Well, thank God for that. Yes. No puzzles to get to the coffee machine, eh? That's the next game for Tomb Raider.
Thank God.
She has to find the sugar and the creamer. and everything else hidden around her house, her
I
mansion.
know, and your jitterness that
Yeah.
comes with it from the caffeine.
That's retired Raider.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I think the second game though was I think my favorite part of the second game, oddly enough, was the DLC. I love the Baba Yaga stuff.
Yes, that was really
That
good.
was a cool DLC.
Baba Yaga, the Temple of the
Yeah.
Witch. Is that what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
Yeah,
that
that was
was
really
cool,
good.
and hallucinational sort of stuff and everything. That was pretty cool. Yeah, and I like the way the third game started to, like the plane crash and stuff. That was kind of cool, and then like that jungle looked absolutely amazing. Like this is what I'm saying. Like everybody constantly brings up other games and how good their graphics are, and nobody brings up Tomb Raider half the time. I never seen it. It's like, are you guys
Dude, that
blind,
first Jaguar you ran into,
dude? Yes, it's
Dude.
amazing.
Oh yeah,
one
yeah.
of the best
Mhm.
looking cutscenes I've ever seen in my life to this day.
Oh, like just the detail level and the jungle and the colors and the light coming through the trees and stuff. It's just, damn, man, this game does not get enough love. It's
And
crazy.
what a clean game too. Like every outfit you put Laura in, there was no weird clipping or anything.
Yep.
There was no real big game breaking bugs. I don't even think there was really any bugs to speak of.
I
that
never
were
had anything
significant.
that
I
broke
mean,
in either game.
the
No.
game is just unappreciated. I think the Tomb Raider Rise and Shadow
Mm-hmm.
as a trilogy as a whole is probably one of the strongest trilogies in gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I could agree with that for sure. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, it sounds like it's unanimous that the panel loves Tomb Raider, and we can't wait for the new game. But sadly, I'd say it's still a ways out. Probably, I'm guessing, probably another at least 3 years would be my estimation.
They said they
especially-
just started it, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess
Yeah.
3 to 4
So-
years at least.
Oh, let's
At
hope it
least
comes
4,
out on this
yeah.
generation of consoles, because we're already 2 or 3 years in right now, and it seems like games are sliding way down the pipeline here. So let's,
Yeah.
but hey, there's lots of stuff to play, and gives people enough time to go back and beat the original trilogy and get caught back up. So if you guys have not played the original Tomb Raider trilogy, which you can actually buy on sale on the spring sale right now, by the way,
Mhm.
you can get all 3 games in one fantastic bundle. Go do it. Do yourself a favor. You will not regret it. You will have an absolute blast from start to finish. Fantastic games, great mechanics, and obviously a more realistic version than the old Lara Croft, who definitely had more in common with today's Barbie doll than than a real world lady. So, but anyway,
Question:
yeah.
Is it Lara or Laura?
Laura.
Laura, don't you forget
Laura.
it.
Lara Croft.
Lara.
Lara.
Keep my bae's name out your mouth. All right. No, I'm just
I've
kidding.
heard him called everything. Lana, Lara. A lot of people call her Lara.
Laura,
That's-
Lara.
La-
No, I
yeah, some
always
people
hear
call her
people say
Laura.
Laura, and that ticks me
Laura.
off. I'm like, no, she's British. It's not Laura.
Lara Croft. You got to say with a little bit of a British accent. Lara Croft. How are you, Mr. Croft? I suppose that was British. I don't know. Maybe it's Scottish.
I don't know. That doesn't sound British at all.
Yeah, sound a little Scottish.
Is that Canadian British you're speaking up there?
That's Canadian
Arr.
French.
Ara, come on, Lara Croft. Come on to see you in what I mean.
See, there you go.
Ah.
Yeah, I would say that's
Yeah.
more Scottish than British.
That's
100%.
Scottish,
Well,
yeah.
I was trying to do
Maybe
Scottish
Irish.
that time.
I would say it's more Irish.
Oh, shit. Yes, the console shortage will make the gen last longer. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Don't worry,
Yes, I
we're probably
definitely
in for
think that.
another round of pro versions of consoles. But you know what? You know where you can stick those pro versions of your consoles? Up your dang bungholes.
I think it's going to take a while to get to max out what the consoles can do. We still haven't seen
Yeah,
full blast
I'm-
what the consoles can do. So I think
Exactly.
this generation is going to be a lot longer than people think.
I'm okay with them revamping it and making a slim version, a more streamlined, sexier, energy efficient, whatever console. I'm always for the revamp per se. But if you're rebuilding a console and trying to make essentially a second console within the same generation, I bought it once. Okay, I'm guilty. I had a PS4 Pro and I had the Series X, but I'm not doing it this time. You're not getting my money. You're not duping me again. Basically, if you're that much of an idiot that you didn't get the console right out the gate, then you're not getting my money. You're going to get a lot of other people's monies, absolutely. Because, they do it with phones all the time. Well, you're idiot for buying 200 versions of the same freaking phone because it got more megapixels on the camera. Like, seriously, what are you doing with your iPhone 20 that you didn't pretty much do with your iPhone 16? Nothing, right? Nothing. but it's got these new cameras. It's got 3D. I can see your ball sack through your underwear cameras. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
that
You know?
far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It always gets me. Like I'm right there. It's like they always want the newest phone for the new features, but they never use those features anyway once they get the phone.
Exactly. Most
I
of
don't
them are pretty
understand
much
that.
useless.
I really don't understand that.
Most of us use the phones for the same damn three things: texting, odd calls, and I do mean odd calls. So I don't hardly know anybody that actually calls anybody anymore. And what? Getting on the internet, right? Looking at your social media and crap, Facebook and Twitter and TikTok. That's pretty much what phones are pretty much done.
Tick tick.
Maybe the odd game, yeah. Obviously, gaming seems to be pretty big, but I can't remember the last time I seen any of my friends actually pick up a phone and play a game on it. So maybe that's a kid thing or something like that, because I certainly don't do it.
Remember, they got
I'm just a
Pokemon Go,
fossil.
man. They have.
I hardly
Yeah.
never play games on a phone. I can't stand touch screen anything. Like I ain't touching controls. I can't play them. My thumbs are too fat and the screen's too small. All right.
I like new technology, so what I would buy the new phone, and what I would do is I just sell my phone from the last year on eBay for $100 less, and then I just buy the new phone. I always had money. Those Newfonomics, you know what I'm saying?
How dare you bring that into the equation?
I'm just saying you can take this iPhone when the new one comes out, put this one on eBay for $100 less than what you bought it last year, and it will sell in that day. And then you have the money for your new phone, and you have the one every year. That's if you want to. So
hey man, at the end of the day,
things.
it's your money. I'm just saying, if they make another iteration of consoles,
He learned that from Microsoft. He's trying to do it ahead of time. See, he learned that from Microsoft.
They better not put out a Pro series of consoles this time. Like, all these RDNA 2 features that Microsoft promised that are supposed to be in RDNA 2, the console's not even doing them right now.
Right.
So before they put out a Pro version of the console, they better turn on all those features.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If they do a Pro, it would be either just a short stopgap at the end of the generation. I think this generation of consoles will at least go 6 years.
Yeah.
If
they do a Pro version, I don't want to hear any game not hitting 4K 60 flat out nonstop, not a frame drop.
Maybe a bigger store, maybe a little bit
hit
bigger
4K
storage.
60 in every freaking game you guys put out, because I'm so tired of this friggin', I want to say GAD terms over here, so I'm trying to keep it PG for the show. But I'm so tired of this constant, every time a game comes out, you get the Digital Foundry BS. Oh, this game runs at this, and this game runs at that, and this game looks like this and that, and something else. It's like, dudes, this shouldn't even be a conversation, because this should simply be, yeah, the game looks amazing, and it runs 4K 60. That's it. End of story. Not constantly, well, this game runs like this, and this game. And then we're seeing games like now, like even somebody brought a Chrono Trigger.
Oh my God, who lit his fuse? My God.
Yeah. Yes, my fuse is going, and let's hope I don't fart. Okay. Welcome back, Paul.
Okay, I actually heard most of that. And first, let me say hello, Joe Dunmore. Welcome. It's been a few weeks. As for the other parts, let's see. Xbox is probably not going to have a refresh. They are talking about redoing the chip, but only to make it more power efficient. That won't be a full refresh. Sony has been talking about a refresh. We will probably see a PlayStation refresh at some point because they weren't ready.
Well,
yeah,
and because it's more money.
Yeah,
more money.
One girl I read was on Twitter the other day. She goes, "I just bought the PS5." She goes, "I didn't realize how big it is." She has, "I have to reorganize my whole cabinet or something." She said, in order to get this thing to fit anywhere.
Wow.
It is kind of true, because I can't fit it in half the spots I got. My TV is so big it takes up my entire desk, so I got it down
hanging on the wall, man. Hanging on the wall.
It's almost going on the wall. Yeah, it's gonna be a spaceship up there eventually. It's a big sucker. It's tall, man. It's not the width. It's just a big, tall sucker.
It's just good for winter, just to warm you up.
Absolutely. Take the side panels off and use them for.
Get the heat.
I was strapping onto my motorcycle for fairings.
Yeah, just use the heat sink. That should warm you up.
All right. Speaking of things coming in hot, Coolcat Terri in the Indie Spotlight, which is now almost a half an hour running past its normal display time. Let's bring her in, Terri. Enough of the Tomb Raider talk. Have at her.
All right, so I got another great game for you guys today. This is another older one, but I hope you guys are excited. This is going to be for those of you that like exploration, since we, which is perfect because we were already talking about Tomb Raider and how some people prefer to just do the traversal and exploring more than the action. So this will be a game all for you. So let me go ahead and play the trailer. It's a very, very quick one. They had long ones, but I decided to try to keep this one short.
Here we go.
Solas 3, this is Prolis Command. Please report. Save yourself.
Solas Project.
Okay, so Solas Project, it's very, very quick because I just, like I said, I didn't, there's a lot to dive in on this game, so it'd be better for those of you just to play it and then experience it than to, go
Right.
on a lengthy trailer that is. All right, so single player exploration themed game that does have survival elements in it, but it's not a survival eccentric games, which is good because like, for me, I don't want to sit there and have to, struggle to craft a stupid torch just to get my game started. All right. So it's not like that. Okay. So basically the game takes place. Real quick summary to lead up to the game is humanity destroyed our planet. We've heard that 100 times. We're all living in spaceships, hovering around Pluto. They decided to create the Solas Project, where they set some ships out to go find new habitable planets, whatever. So your ship ended up traveling for 10 years before it finally found a planet. It crash landed. Everybody on the crew died except for you. So now you're stranded there all alone. And you have to explore to see if, first to find out if this is a place that you can, that say if humanity, can we come here and live here? It seems like it's not inhabited, but you're starting to feel like maybe somebody else is there. You have to, so you got to try to, figure out who's been there. Are there aliens or what's going on? Crazy weather is happening. All kinds of mystery to solve and unravel. It's really, really, really well done. When they first released it, they released it in parts, so they did like kind of like episodic in a way. But now you can go ahead. It's been out since like 2016, so you'll be able to do the full playthrough of the game. It is $20, and this one's on PC, Xbox, PlayStation. It also has VR, so if you have VR on PC or PlayStation VR, you do have that option as well. So there you guys go. If you want to go that route, go for that. And but yeah, it's really, 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 really fun, and and it's got a good atmosphere. And if you just want to unravel the story and explore to your heart's content, this is the game for you to go ahead.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Metro in space a little bit for some reason. Would you say it's sort of like that?
I didn't play Metro, but
that's more like Outer Wilds, right?
Wilds, no, because this isn't. You're not getting attacked by stuff, right? So it's not like
there's no enemies in the game.
No, it's an uninhabited planet. You're trying to find out if you can, send, call home and be like, well, hey guys, I got stranded and I'm gonna die here alone. But you guys are welcome to come. You'll get here in 10 years.
Minecraft in space. Got it.
So yeah, this is, like I said, it's exploration and survival. You're not shooting things. It's not like a survival game where there's animals and things trying to kill you. It's not that kind of survival game. It's exploration first with some survival elements in it.
Like resources, survival kind of stuff.
Yeah. So like you have like your gadgets that you brought, so that way when the crew was supposed to come down, you could take like samples and stuff like that and make sure the planet is habitable. So you'll have to, find things, to keep running and stuff. But But no, it's not like, okay, I have to get food, I have to build shelter, I have to do all this other crap. You're not doing any of
Right. Thank God. Praise the Lord. More of those games, please.
that.
Amen. All right. Well, great spotlight. The Solas Project. Go check it out. It is available on Xbox and other platforms as well. Got another super chat coming in from Splendiferous. He drops another $2 in the chat. And go ahead, Axel.
Paul, you're not going to scream his name? I know you love it. Pineapple on pizza.
What the heck? All
So
right,
random.
There you go. Yeah, that was a weird random one, but I think it has
No,
something
that
to do
wasn't
with,
random. He follows me on a lot of shows. He knows
uh,
that I dislike pineapple on pizza with a passion, but
Mhm.
somehow I picked up the nickname Pineapple Paul. Yeah. So it just
okay.
they think it's
Pineapple
funny.
Paul.
I think it's annoying, and I am keeping a list.
Hmm.
Yeah, you probably heard of it. It's called the Deadpool. Oh,
Oh.
Like you're dead to me.
Hmm.
yeah.
Metal Girl Squad, Newf, when you come back, you should start up some Newfonomics merch for your channel. Have a little store or what? Reconfiscated or repurchased stuff or what?
You just sell your old T-shirts that you don't want anymore.
That's right. Get the new ones and then resell them back again.
Yeah.
Yes. Just keep recycling. That's what it's called, recycling.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm telling you, nobody wants to buy your used underwear after they hear your farts.
You said
Hey
it.
man, they're nice and cozy. They're well worn in.
Worn in. They're worn out.
Too many dirt trails around it.
Yes. I think I got a few right now with some ball holes in the side.
Hey, Split Difference has a question about the game. Do you have to eat your own kind, Terry?
She's
In
muted.
that survival game.
muted, Timmy. You're muted.
No, for the 10th time, it's uninhabited. There's
There
no
you go.
humans there but you. You can't eat your own kind unless you eat yourself. I mean, if you want to try to eat yourself, Split
That
Difference,
sounds horrible.
see
wow.
how long
Sorry.
you survive if you eat yourself, man.
There's no way around that.
Yeah, no. Oh,
There
man.
you go. Hey, Joe Dunmore says that your stuff can be pre-stained. You know, I saw this video where this guy was talking about old jeans and how
Yeah.
they quote unquote have character. You can just sell your old merch and just be like, it has character.
It is.
Oh Lord.
Yes. Extra 50 cents for the armpit stains. Yes. There we go.
Those are character stains.
All right. Great stuff. Let's move along to a real quick topic, and this one should take us no time at all. Godfall. It's finally out on the Xbox. It's the game that apparently was designed to only run on the PlayStation 5, but here it is. It's out in the wild. I have seen some Xbox players play it. It's obviously about half the price now of what the original Godfall was when it launched on PlayStation 5 last year. Is it a little too late? Does the game still warrant a playthrough? Has anybody picked it up or tried it? Or could you care less at this point?
Hard pass. I don't care anymore. It had its time in the sun, and then when it came out, it did not look interesting at all. This was one of the games that I was going to play with my friends on PlayStation until I saw them play it and some other play it, and I said, this is just not the game for me. Could it be for somebody else? Maybe. It looked like it was a remember Anthem? Go to this one spot, fight, come
Why,
back.
man?
Go to the same spot again, come back. It looks like it only has a few places to go. You fight with your friends and then you come back to them. And as much as I was so hyped for Anthem and I was let down about it, I think that Godfall has the same thing. Plus, when I looked at the graphic fidelity to the game, I just said, this is not for me. It seemed like to me, I waited out. I'd have more fun playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland than Godfall. But if it's a game for you, I'm not telling you to not buy it. Do not go by what I say as to do with the game. But for me and what I like to play and playing with my friends multiplayer, it's a hard pass. Hard.
There you go. From Scrub Nurse himself. Check it out if you dare, but it's not for him. Who else?
Not for me either. Hard pass. Too many good games.
See,
Hard
now
pass
there's
for me as
there's a
well.
lot of that fanboy contingent are going to say, well, you guys are Xbox and you don't care about the game because it didn't launch on the Xbox, and that's horse crap. Because I have the PlayStation
Oh,
5. I had the PlayStation 5 pretty much shortly after launch, and it was just not a game that I cared about to begin with. There's a
well,
lot of better games on the PlayStation 5 to invest your money on. Plus, again, the whole marketing hoopla. Like, that's the other side, right? They touted this game as, it's a PlayStation 5 only title and basically can't run on anything else. And then what? It comes out on the PlayStation 4, and now it's on the competitors. So
yeah, but look what happened. That's the same thing that happened with No Man's Sky. It came out in the PlayStation horrible, and then on the PlayStation was a totally different game. So it shouldn't be any more different. It's still a game, it's just that we're not interested. Simple as that.
yeah.
If it comes to Game
Remember,
Pass, I'll play it. If it comes to Game Pass, I'll play it.
remember
me-
Back for
Yeah.
Blood? Yeah,
Oh,
it's kind of one of those things.
Did
It
that
Somebody-
looks
game come out?
promising.
if
Back
I'm
4
not
Blood had
mistaken,
better advertising than Godfall, though. Like,
Yes.
I feel that Godfall is such a footnote and was so bad, and they knew it was bad that they didn't advertise it so well.
Mhm.
Like No Man's Sky. I'm going to use the No Man's Sky thing, even though it was bad at launch. They advertised the crap out of it.
Mhm.
And so when it came out and it was finally fixed, a lot of people returned to it, and now it's found its own little niche success spot.
It took them a
I don't think
while,
there's
but
any
yes.
recovery in Godfall at all.
Hey, somebody says that any game that finish up with fall is a bad game. So somebody
What
said
about
that.
Pitfall?
Shadowfall.
Oh, man.
Eternal Shaddai is too young for Pitfall, or so
Never
Fact-
heard of it. So
Actually,
I,
most of y'all are actually too young for the actual
I've never
original
played it.
Pitfall. So
yeah,
Nope.
never
I'm
never
not
heard of
too
it.
young.
Never played it.
yeah.
I'm not too young. I had a
For me,
Commodore
though-
64. I'm not
Don't
too
worry,
young.
I'll look at it. I'll look at it
Well,
at YouTube.
Pitfall actually came out originally on the Atari 2600. So
Mm.
and yeah,
Play the DOS version.
yeah,
But
it was
anyways,
that was probably the first game I was actually I saved my money for and bought at launch was Pitfall actually.
Yeah.
Activision when they were good. Oh, sorry.
As Lupus says in the chat right now, you can get the Ultimate Edition for like $30 or something like that. So, hey, there you go. It's on sale, but I'd say, you know what? There are a lot of better games out there that you could spend that $30 on.
I'm about to buy the Lego game.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's
game.
going to be good. I'd rather spend the money on that than Godfall.
That's a really good game.
It is.
for me to get back on topic, Godfall didn't interest me. It has nothing to do with it being on PlayStation first. Because I had a PS4. I still have a PS4. Game came out, and I didn't get it then either.
Right.
For me, the gameplay didn't look interesting, and the other thing is it's Gearbox. And outside of like Borderlands, like majority of Gearbox games don't care about. They haven't been a developer that's grabbed me on most of their franchises. So it was just like it didn't interest me as a whole. It has nothing to do with now that's on Xbox and I'm gonna hate it or whatever. It's literally because it's Gearbox and most of their games I don't care about. And then even when it comes to like Borderlands, I feel like they've fallen off on making those games. So it's just their games aren't good anymore to appeal to me and what I like.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Any further thoughts about Godfall?
No.
No, like the game it does look kind of cool, but it's just something about the game just never really like floated my boat. It was one of those that's kind of like, I'm kind of like with Paul, like, if it ended up in Game Pass, I'd probably go give it a shot just to see how it holds up. But outside of that, it's just not something that was ever high on my radar. You know what I mean? And it's too bad. I'm sure they put a lot of effort into the game and it had some hype behind it at the start, but it died quickly. And like I said, when you're a launch title too, it's always tough because you go up against a lot of the heavy hitters. And I know for PlayStation, especially the PS5 when it launched, one of the big games out of the box was obviously Spider-Man Miles Morales, which pretty much got most of people's playtime last year for the most part. So And we got another super chat coming in. This one courtesy of Jujitsu 50. There you go, Axel. Another one for you to read out.
There's this fake narrative that Halo is dead. Halo is going to be around for 10 years. People need to be patient. Content will be coming.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Well, Halo's a franchise again that people just for some reason they love to hate. They got to find something wrong with it. Yeah, we all know that. Yes, the content's been coming a little bit slower than the fans like, and perhaps even that 343 has intended. But it will come out eventually. Here, just be patient, and hopefully they make it as good as it can be. So,
At least the Halo content when it does come out is working.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah,
I'm glad that, and I say now because like when MCC came out, it was a mess. It didn't get content for a year because all they did was fix the current content for a year.
Mm-hmm.
The connectivity was horrible too.
Yeah, exactly. And then so now that Halo Infinite is out, it's working, everything is going fine. And I'm sure the season 2 stuff, the Lone Wolf stuff, is going to be awesome. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be just fine. In my opinion,
I think one thing they missed on, which they could have took a page from Call of Duty, is Xbox had their season pass. Xbox had their season pass. You got 1 through 100. Well, what's the problem with most games like that? People love to either pay to get through it real quick or they play it nonstop and get through it real quick. And then you're left with having a feeling of, well, I've done everything. What to do next? What Call of Duty does is they have a battle pass 1 through 100, but also they have prestiges. And through their prestige mode, you can go back through that 1 to 100 multiple times, and then you get other stuff. You get other camo, you get other weapons, you get other packs, you get other call signs, banners, camo, and different things like that to keep somebody engaged even more until the next season comes out. So, yeah, I know it sounds weird saying it out loud, but that's something 343 could have used from Call of Duty to make the game better. As far as to keep with engagement and keep people just playing the mess out of it all the time.
I think Halo should have kept the ranking system as well. Like Halo's Reach ranking system was my favorite ranking system out of all of them. And maybe with each rank, you get special banners as Nurse alludes to, or special colors, or something special on your uniform that only captains get to, or something. That way everybody has a little something to grind towards.
Right.
Yeah. Indeed. But yeah, for those people that play nonstop and they got through all 100 levels in 2 days, there's never going to be enough content for those kinds of players.
Never.
Never.
Absolutely. So. The thing for me is I'm super excited for the co-op. I really hope to get that nailed down sooner than later, and that we can jump into the campaign with friends, family, and all that stuff. That would be awesome.
I want firefight mode personally. I'm a huge fan of firefight. I like doing the wave style, kind of like Gears of War's horde mode. It's essentially the same with no building though. So yeah, I like firefight a lot. So I hope they bring that out soon.
Right. Speaking of building, they finally took they added a mode without the building in Fortnite. That's finally something I got a little bit excited about, even though I still never played Fortnite. Thank God. Don't have to build a house while I'm shooting at somebody. That's nice.
Yeah. Fortnite, I'm just not interested in playing it, even with a no build mode.
Yes.
There's just other games
now. Not my cup of tea either. Not my cup of tea. But anyway, let's move over to potentially our last topic of the day. We may have a couple small ones if we get down to it, but I have a feeling this one will probably take up the last part of the show. Unless, I forgot to ask you guys if anybody had the regular segments. And Scrub, you'll probably have to get out of here in like 15 minutes. Are you doing Xbox Game Pass?
Yeah, I can do it, but it's pretty quick. There's not much.
Go ahead.
All right, let me share this screen real quick.
We're
gonna be real quick. All righty. So what I'm on Game Pass counter right here. So leaving soon. I just want to say that is tomorrow, the 11th. We got Beyond Light, Destiny 2. MLB The Show is leaving on the 15th, but guess what? The new MLB The Show 2020 22 is out there on Game Pass, so go check that out. F1 2019 is leaving, and I guess Rain on Your Parade in the Long Dark. So coming soon. One thing I wanted to point out, Life is Strange True Colors is coming out on the 12th. So if you're one of the people that are big fans of these games and these series, check that out on Game Pass on the 12th. And that's all I have right now. And we can keep going into this topic.
There you go. GamePassCounter.com, everybody, if you missed it. So there you go. What's coming, what's going. Good stuff for Game Pass. Segueing from Game Pass into the topic that we're about to talk about, and that is the family plan for Game Pass has finally been announced. It's been something that people have clamored for, especially those who want to, take advantage of the amazing deals that Xbox has, but obviously have a family and probably more than one Xbox centric thing in their household. So here is the article, courtesy of Windows Central and Jez Corden. Let's see if it's up on the screen here. So there you go. Microsoft is moving ahead with an Xbox Game Pass family plan. I think last week, someone alluded to it, but we never got a chance to talk about it. So here it is. I'm just going to give some details on the article here, and then we'll weigh in on it. So what you need to know, Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft Netflix-like subscription, providing access to hundreds of games at a relatively low cost. It has lacked a family plan up until now, but it's set to change. So it is coming out soon. So let's see what they plan on doing here. Let's get down to the family plan. Let's see. They've been desiring to do it for a while, but now it could launch sometime later on this year. From our information, paying a higher tier for Xbox Game Pass family plan will net access to 5 players for games across the entire library and will be far cheaper than paying for 5 separate Xbox Game Pass accounts as is necessary today. Utilizing Microsoft's family account system already in use for Office 365, players within the same country will be able to play together using a single Xbox Game Pass subscription managed by a central account holder in much the same way as a similar service. So mom and dad can sign it up and then basically pay a little bit extra and get the entire family on board, or at least most of the family. If your family's bigger than 5, well, it looks like you've been busy doing something more than gaming. There you go. But COVID kids, I call them, they're coming. So how do you guys feel about it? I mean, obviously it's going to be there's no real bad spin on this. It's obviously something fans have wanted, families have certainly wanted. It's got to be a good thing for everybody. How do you guys feel about it? It seems to be just around the corner.
I think it's a good way to do this. I think they should have been done this. That you had a type of family plan before with not just Game Pass, but just with your Xbox, where you sit there just like your friends thing. Why not be able to do this? And this is if you're wanting to bring, like they said, 3 billion gamers to the platform. This is a way to do it with the lower entry price. I think this is melded in with another topic that a lot of folks have been talking about, especially with maybe gold going away and making Game Pass just $15 across the board. A lot of people can use this for themselves, their children, or what we're more likely going to see is I'm going to be having the account, and then like Newf is my brother, and Terry is my sister, and Axel is my other brother, and that's our family plan, and then we all play together and share games. I think that's what most gamers are going to do, but yes, it will help the family out. And like I said, also with them possibly getting rid of gold, which I thought they were going to do anyway, Xbox Ultimate Game Pass is the best Game Pass. You can have the best product where you can play on your PC, you can play on your console, and you can have xCloud melded in with that, and then having a family plan. I think this is the best way to have people have an entryway into this without having a tiered system of you have to have this and you don't have to have that. But if you get this, you get this. But then if you don't, you get put it all at 15. You'll bring those people who are at $10 and then having to pay gold. Now you're all there at $15. You have it all. Plus you can add this in here with your family plan. It's more of a deal than what people are saying. I'm hearing a lot of people complaining that you're going to raise it to $15 and get rid of gold, but I think it's going to work out just fine. Plus, you have to look at the money Xbox is bringing in to help satisfy. If the Activision deal comes out plus everything, it'll work out. It'll work out fine. You'll have so many games to play, and you're making everybody happy so you can maximize how good this thing is for everybody. Instead of saying, here's a walled garden, you're $15, only these people get that $10, you only get this in there, put everybody together. I mean, people are complaining about Netflix going up $2 or $3, but they're still having a Netflix account. So I don't see what's the complaint with the Game Pass angle. So I mean, that's what pretty much I have on it. It's just depending on what you want to use with the program. And with them putting everything together in one thing, no confusion altogether. If they advertise it right and explain it correctly, I think it'll be a smooth transition.
Scrub, while you're here, obviously articulating your points of view, do you wish to do your outro, or are you going to stick around for a few minutes?
Yeah, I'll stick around a few minutes. I got about like 10 minutes.
Okay, man, no problem. Who else wants to jump in? And obviously, question to the chat: who intends to purchase the Xbox Game Pass family plan? Is that something that definitely interests you? Do you have a big family and looking to get on board with that fantastic deal? So, who from the panel and in the chat, please? You can put 1 in the chat if you plan to get it. 2 if you don't have no intentions. Looks like Paul's ready to chime in here.
No, I have no family, and unless it comes with one, I really have no reason to, to invest in such a thing, So no.
Paul. Yeah. Paul brings everybody back down.
That's right. So right. Yeah, no reason for me to get something like that, but I know it'll help a lot of my friends who do have families who pay for 2, 3, 4 different different subs because of that. Because sometimes they can game share, but really they're not supposed to be doing that, but they can, but still that limits them to two different consoles. Sometimes the children or whoever don't live in the same house, even because of divorces and whatever. So this is a good deal. So
well, I see Netflix is planning to change their plan a little bit, because what they're starting to obviously catch on to, look, it took them like 10 years, but people sharing the passcodes or your password for the thing, and multiple people accessing your account. So obviously that that's something they're going to have to look at as well, because people want to take advantage of great deals, but when it gets exploited, it is great for the customer, but at the end of the day, they got bottom lines, and they got if you want services to expand and get better, skimping out and basically finding corners to cut costs on a service that's already fairly cheap to begin with is not a good look overall. So
different streaming services started quashing that a couple of years ago. They would look at, is it coming from 2 separate IPs? Is it even coming from the same city? And they would quash that stuff. So
and trust me, and if people are going to try to exploit Xbox, don't worry, they're gonna find ways to roll that back as well. Don't worry. Right?
For sure.
So we got a super chat coming in, but shout out to Stinking Corpse, my good buddy in the chat, one of my longtime supporters. Good to see you, Corpsey. Sean is in the chat. Sean with some of the best memes out there next to Wilmy Hood. Good to see you, Sean. What's going on? But anyway, Jiu-Jitsu comes back with the $9.99 super chat. Mr. Axel, take it away.
Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu says this is the generation where Xbox will sell 2 consoles per home, more than previous generations, because customers will buy the only available, which is the Xbox Series S, and again when the Xbox Series X is available.
He probably has, I think. He probably has a bit of point there, because I've already known a lot of people that have picked up an S and they're like, "Yeah, I can't wait to get my X though."
Yeah, I have 2 in the house.
Series S for his kids, right?
Yep.
I just did.
I had to upgrade it. I have to do it because Xbox One S kind of stopped working, so I had no other choice to buy a Series S.
Yeah, it stopped working after you dropped it. After you,
the kids tripped.
Need to get a new one. Darn.
Yeah, that console is really tiny, like really tiny.
That's it. My One X. If my One X actually breaks down, and to have a second Xbox, then what do I got to do there? Got to buy another Series X? No.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I think the family plan is a good deal for everybody, especially people with actual families like Shaddai, like Scrub. You know, for people like me, I think I'm going to do what Scrub says and try to get it with my friends, namely my cousin. If we can split that cost up, even better. Maybe add my nephews into it, but if Xbox is going to be like, okay, well, this one is accessing it from, I don't know, from New York, and this one's accessing it from California, they're obviously not in the same household, so not eligible, kind of thing. Because they can see that these days. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting to
it's meant
see.
for the same household, so I really do think that they're going to put some sort of tracking into it where you won't be able to do that. If it was something like Netflix where you just pay for what they call screens, like where 5 screens can watch at the same time or something, it would be a little different. But the family plan is intended for just family in the same household, I think. And all it's going to do is make their Game Pass numbers look even better, because instead of people having to share or maybe sign into the same Game Pass account, now you're going to have a family plan with at least 2 Xboxes, maybe 3 or 4 in the same household. All it's going to do is ramp that number up from 25 million to maybe 35 million or something. So I see it as a smart move if they can prevent what me and my cousin want to do. But if they can't, oh well, too bad, so sad. Not my money. I'm not worried about it.
There you go. Let's get all right. Who else wants to weigh in here? Nobody?
Don't really have anything to say on it.
Terry's like, I got
mean,
no Rugrats here, so yeah.
like it's been said, it'll be great for those who can get use out of it, because I have seen many people, say that they really want this feature. I mean, we've had people in the chat in the past say that they wish that there was a family plan. Finally going to get your wish, so that's great. I have no use for it. It's just my husband and I. We have our own Xbox, and like his is my home, and his is mine, and mine is his, or whatever. So like I have Game Pass, and then he gets it through the home Xbox thing. So like I don't really need a family plan, but down the road, if we ever have a kid, and then so I'll say like 5 years in the future, when they're old enough to actually start playing on a console, maybe I'd want to consider that. But I mean, I don't have a need for it.
There you go. There you go.
I think it'll be key if they roll that straight into Game Pass Ultimate to make people pay the $15 versus the $10, and then you don't up it more and say, no, the family plan is $20. I think that's the move to do. And I think it'll be more affordable. People will be more apt to do it. And especially if you're already paying Game Pass Ultimate $15 anyway, and you just roll that straight into there, just like you rolled xCloud straight into there, just like you rolled Game Pass. Gold into that program. I think that's to me the best way to do it. People who are going to move from the $10 to the $15, and if you take away gold and it's all 15, I think that's the best deal.
I think
do not take away gold.
No,
the only
but
way
gold is old.
I think that's the way they're going to do it, because they're going to show you're getting Game Pass, you're getting gold, you're getting xCloud, right, you're getting PC, you're putting all of that in on one price. And I think that it's just a big bundle, and especially the way we're not trying to console war, but especially the way PlayStation doing with the different tiers. You're buying this to be able to get this. You're paying this to be able to, and it's more confusing. Yep. Yeah, and you're upselling. But if Xbox and say, for this one price, you get all of this crap, I think that is a better selling point.
And I hear where you're going, but I'm just going to make the point is I just need access to online and playing with my friends and using party chat. The rest of it I could care less for. So I'm not into the habit of paying for a rental service for $210-$15 Canadian per year, when right now it's costing me $70 for gold with the cards. And yes, the cards will probably disappear eventually, because people say, well, Newf, just go out and buy a whole bunch of cards. Yes, I got several $100s of disposable income just sitting around to buy gold cards. No, the option is there. It should stay there. I totally understand. We're not here to preach on the reasons. I totally get the Game Pass thing. But again, I just need my gold. I don't need the rest, all the fancy bells and whistles. And $70 to me is a lot better than 210. And again, I just need to get online. Maybe they'll have free online. That's great. Then I won't even have to pay $70. But I'm not paying.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay for things I don't want. It's the reason I cut the cable bill. It's the reason I cut almost all of my subscriptions out. I'm paying too much money for things I don't use, and I'm tired of it. At the end of the day, it's all fancy, but I only have so much time to play so many games or watch so many TV shows. I don't need, $300 worth of subscriptions coming out because this has got a great value here and great value here and great value there. I mean, man, I got to eat. I got to put gas in the car. Gas alone now is gone absolutely stupid. So I hope some people can see my point. And I mean, all these day and date games are all fancy, but you know what? I'm not going to buy it for PlayStation either. I don't. Oh man. Anyway, I'm going to go off on another tangent.
Another rant.
Just leave it where it is, because I know that old Newf Nukem, because I'm old and senile and archaic, that I'm going to take one up the bum again.
You are just a traditional gamer. That's pretty much it.
Yes, I am traditional as all hell, man. I'd bring the cartridge for him, Mac, if I could. Let's go. Come on. But anyway,
I see your point.
You see my point? Yeah. I just want to play online. I don't care about your fancy gadgets and all your crap.
Well, the good thing is, you can already do party chat for free. You don't need gold for party chat.
You used to at one point.
When I say get rid of gold, I mean get rid of that online paywall. PC doesn't have it. Why do consoles? There's no reason to have it.
Well, that's even great. Like I said, I'll save $70 right up in front, because that's the only reason I'm paying it now. But we've been paying it since day one. If you ever owned an Xbox, we've been pretty much all buying gold since day one. Exactly. PlayStation made PlayStation Plus. The reason they started, like I said, the whole free games thing that came about because they had to entice people to move over from the free service. That was the only way to happen. Xbox followed suit. I really could care less about the free games that come with gold. Most 90% of them nowadays. I mean, when it started,
look at them now. The games are horrible right now. That lets you know that you have to move on from. Gold to.
They might as well give me a roll of toilet paper so I can wipe my butt while I'm at it, because
I used to redeem the gold games every month. Now, I think it's been several months.
They want you to go to Game Pass. That's why.
That is correct.
I don't pay attention to
just because I can.
Don't give them our best pizza for free when they can pay for it in Game Pass. Come on.
Yeah.
But for family plan, I think the only way I would get it is once they make it, if they decide we're going to get rid of the home Xbox feature for game sharing, if they decide to take that away, then that would force me to get the family plan. So my husband and I only have to buy a game once.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, like Xbox Play Anywhere type.
Mm-hmm.
You buy it once, you go for everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotcha. That makes sense.
Because in the 360 times there, Shaddai, we used to have to buy 2 copies of every freaking game.
No, I remember that.
Yes.
I remember.
Yeah, so that's why we like the way they have it now. So that way we just buy it once and we.
All right, Scrub, you got to bounce?
Yeah, I'm headed out, so I'm glad to have another week in talking about games, having good banter with the crew and in the chat. So thank you all for coming out. You can check me on Twitter at ScrubNurse3, also on Xbox at ScrubSpaceNurse, and then also check out the crew Gaming Beyond the Box on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And just come out and have a good time. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and let's have a good work week. There's a lot of games that just came out, so there's something for everybody. There's no use to console war. So I'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good one.
Have a great morning.
See you, nurse.
All right, man. Have a great day, brother. See you around.
You too.
All righty. There you go. Scrub Nurse, guys. Again, everybody's links in the description are in the YouTube chat on the back page. So I'll go check them out. Any further thoughts here, everybody? Or
The only thing that I can say is right now Game Pass is selling pretty well. They already have 25 million subscribers. So right now they're just trying to get as many people to switch over. Gold right now, like you guys said, is already old. The free games are getting old. So right now, just upgrade just upgrade to Game Pass, like everybody's doing right now. It's not for everybody, but we already see it from a mile away what is happening.
I said with the games at gold, and I firmly believe they should do this. You know how they always tout the gold, and then they say the value that you're getting, right?
Yeah.
So they should give everybody at least the option. You can take the free games with gold, or we're going to give you a voucher for the Xbox store. So you check one or the other. You check the box and take it. So if you take the games, you don't get the voucher, or you pick the voucher, and then you can basically put that towards a game or whatever from the store. I think it's a win-win that way as well, and that way everybody's sort of happy, one way or the other.
Yeah, I hate when they say, "Well, you get Paygo 1, 2, 3, 4 for free." Like, what? What is this?
Yeah.
While the Game Pass, you get all.
Be hating on Peggle, man. That game was fun.
No, I have both, but that's the only game that came to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how horrible right now games with gold is at this very moment.
Right. All righty. And I guess lastly, a new Kingdom Hearts game announced, Shaddai?
That is correct. It was announced this morning around 7:30 in the morning Eastern time. I guess Square Enix had, or let's say Kingdom Hearts event just came out, and they announced Kingdom Hearts 4. I think they just announced the remake of Final Fantasy 9 and Tactics. And like I said, Kingdom Hearts 4 and one more, because I know I have it in here if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that would be it.
Kingdom Hearts 4 and Kingdom Hearts Missing Link were officially announced at the series' 20th anniversary event. I don't know if there's any big Kingdom Hearts fans on the panel. I've only bought one in this series, and that was number 3, which I enjoyed for the most part, but it's still on my backlog, and I've yet to actually complete it. So, but I did enjoy what I played. A little bit weird, kind of like what the heck, but a lot of fun at the same time. So.
No, I have all of them. The only ones that I haven't played are the one from Handheld Made. Those are the only, especially Chains of Memories, which is a card game. That was kind of a weird one.
Right.
So
I tried to play Kingdom Hearts, and I'm probably going to get hate messages for this. Don't like the game. And did not like the game.
Blasphemy. Another blasphemous person. Blasphemy. No, it's hard to comprehend. The story is weird.
Didn't like it. I was like, why am I doing this?
Why? Because you felt.
Why do you hate Disney, Paul?
I love Disney. I don't like the game. It was not my kind of game. It's not
Where did
bad
Mickey
games.
Mouse touch you wrong when you were younger? Go ahead, you can tell us.
Well, I think what happened was Paul kissed Sleeping Beauty, and she never did wake up.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she just rolled over and went back to sleep. Bitch.
He doesn't like the rat. That's why.
Nope. My first trip to Disneyland, I did get a kiss from Snow White, though. Right there.
Oh, you did?
Right
There
there.
you
Yeah.
Oh, so you got.
He hasn't watched it since, guys.
That's right.
So that means Paul got kissed from Ursula then.
What?
Well, from Snow White. Ursula, what?
What?
He got a
Going
kiss
on
from
about
Ursula.
that made Ursula's for the Little Mermaid, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with
No.
White.
It was
The
definitely a
ugly
snow.
one. The ugly one.
Ooh.
Anyways.
You lost me there. You lost me there. Yeah.
Back
You
on
lost me.
Kingdom Hearts.
Shout out to the chat. Our good friend Jesse Derby's been hanging with us all morning. Shout out to Jesse. Good to see you, my friend. We got HTK360 in the chat. Good morning, HTK. Good to see you here as well. General Spartan 27. How are you doing? Our good friend Gaming Forte is in the house, and he replies to me and says that Newf Nukem, I agree with you, but I think people overthink the price of services. In the case of Game Pass, think more of the macro level. Just found 2 games at $60 and the service pays for itself. I totally get where you're going. Like I said, my logic when it comes to Game Pass doesn't entirely make a lot of sense for most people. And I'm not going to sit here and, like I said, bang the drum trying to explain myself, because we always know where that goes into an hour-long rant. But yes. Anyway, Kingdom Hearts. Like I said, I like the third game. I know my good friend Primal Eve, she loves Kingdom Hearts, and to be honest, I remember when she played 3, she actually told me she was very disappointed. She did not like 3 like the other ones.
I'm right there. Like I am a fan of Kingdom Hearts. I have enjoyed them, but I hated 3. 3 is the only one that I've never finished because I had no reason to. It bored me to tears. I didn't.
So that means you left it pretty much halfway unfinished.
Not even halfway, dude. I didn't even get 5 hours in. Like it just no. Like I got no. It was bad.
See, another blasphemy. Oh,
3 was bad.
No, it was actually good, even though it does have.
No, it was so bad. Like you start up the game, cutscene. You walk 2 steps, cutscene. You walk a little further, cutscene. Walk a little further, freaking cutscene. I'm like, when am I gonna play this game?
But that's only 5 hours, and after that, you don't see no more cutscene. I'm probably
that's only 5 hours.
Just 5 hours of cutscenes, and then the game starts.
You just gotta soldier through it, Terry. Come on.
Wait. So you could play games that is 150 hours, but you can't wait for 5 hours.
Burn through cutscenes? No.
Terry, like, when I started the game, my hair was like
part
this.
Of Disney
I got 5 hours in, I looked like Rapunzel.
Dude, it just did we not just say about Uncharted had too many cutscenes?
Yeah, I know. I mentioned Metal Gear.
You could put all the cutscenes together, Uncharted, and they wouldn't even equate to a quarter. It was just the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, but that's you have to understand that a lot of people were waiting for that game to release, and they needed to refresh it. They needed to refresh the whole thing. They needed to refresh the whole thing.
Wait. I was gonna say we wanted a game, not a movie, dude. Yeah, that's
I understand. If you wait for that long, can you actually remember what happened? Part 2 and 1.
Because the Kingdom Hearts fans that were waiting the 14 years and excited,
cutscenes are great, but you can fix them with one little button. It's called a skip button.
And then they hold your hand the whole time. They hold your hand the whole time. And the other Kingdom Hearts games
but that's like saying I play Elden Ring for 150 hours for the same combos.
I should have brought this topic up way earlier.
I'm playing 150 hours of Elden Ring for the same combos, but I don't have a problem with that. I'm playing 150 hours for Elden Ring to have the same combos, and there's no problems with it.
Jesus, would you play 100 hours of Elden Ring if it was just,
It's the same combo. Nobody complain about that, but only complaining about.
Well, dude, because there's a difference between watching for 5 hours and actually doing something.
But like I say, it's a refresher. It's a
no, refresher. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
How long we waited?
I was used to watching porn for 5 hours. That's why.
No, there was too many cutscenes, and like I said, they held your hand so much that there was no exploration because they constantly told you, "Hey, you should look over there." Like, dude, I'll go where I want to go. Stop telling me how to play the game. And it was like that the whole time. Hey, we should take a look over here. No,
the only thing that I can say is we waited for so long and you needed a refresher. That's pretty much it.
No, it's not refreshing.
No,
that's it.
No. Okay, no. The hardcore fans don't need a refresher.
I won't understand a lengthy CGI halfway of the game.
Shaddai, that's like justifying them making a freaking origin story for Batman and Superman every 10 years. We don't need a game refresher. We know their origin story. Get out of here, Shaddai, with that nonsense.
Well, no. To be fair,
Kingdom Hearts is complicated. I kind of agree with Shaddai on this one.
Yeah, but it still shouldn't need a 5 hour. Shouldn't need a 5 hour.
Lasting 5 hours.
Skip button.
I know.
Either that, or put the refresher online and say if you'd like to see what happened previously. Go to frickin' YouTube.
Okay, but that's okay on YouTube. See, you're saying it right now. Or it's okay on YouTube, but not on the game. Does not.
Yeah, but it's a choice.
Fast forward on YouTube.
Didn't make
Wow.
any sense right there, man.
I wish I was going to be around long enough to probably talk about the next Kingdom Hearts topic. I might have to come
No,
back and do a special
I like
episode.
Kingdom Hearts, but I forgot, the story of Kingdom Hearts because part 2 was so long ago. It was so long ago. So yeah, of course I need a refresher.
It wasn't that long ago because they're like Bethesda, where they keep re-releasing the collections over and over, so you keep playing them again.
5 hours is not a refresher. That is War and Peace. Okay, that's
5-hour argument.
Yeah,
they gave me a good morning.
You realize how many times they re-release those freaking games?
Yeah,
Dude,
but that's different.
Not that long ago.
Oh my god!
Aren't they making a collection?
Good stuff, guys. Good stuff.
No, it's already out. It's already out.
Oh, the collection's already out. Okay, gotcha.
There's like 10 collections out. You take your pick.
And they've had games on I've lost track of them all because they've had games on the 3D, the DS, and games on the PlayStation, and it's been all over the place.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you need just one game just because it got a long, cutscene. Yeah, okay.
Oh.
You need a
Okay. That's not a cutscene. That is a feature. Okay.
Okay. The question is:
it's a
do you
feature
prefer
to
long
remember.
cutscenes or thick cutscenes?
That was just a thin,
It's not about the
long.
length of the cutscene. It's about the quality of the cutscene.
It just needs to leave an impression and not be forgettable. Okay.
But then after that, you don't see it anymore. Then you see cutscenes, like little cutscenes, and that's it. It's only the beginning.
Only the 5-hour beginning. What's your problem?
The beginning sets the tone for the whole game.
I'm telling you. Wait. So they took 5 hours to refresh you. Okay. There's a hang on.
Metal Gear 4 Sons of Patriot. That's way longer.
Let Gandalf speak, okay?
Yeah, that's way longer than Kingdom Hearts. That's way longer.
There is if it takes them 5 hours to refresh you on the game background, that's too long. Okay,
long is Son of Patriots. That's almost like 10 minutes.
No.
Sounds like your sex life. There you go.
Yeah, when you're against the clock, yes, of course.
Oh
man, Sean, that's hilarious. By the way, Sean in the chat, funny.
Yes.
And good morning, Assassin Lupa.
Yeah, Sean crazy.
Yes. Crazy Louie, what's going on, brother? Yes, the crazy one is here. I think the whole panel's gone crazy. I think the coffee's kicking in or something. Holy shit.
We want Terry. I love this.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
A couple weeks in a row now, you managed to fire Terry up on something.
I didn't think Mickey Mouse could fire up the panel this way.
No, the 5-hour refresh is the equivalent of someone going, long story short, your response is too late. It's like way too late.
Let's just make a note to never ask Shaddai to recap the Kingdom Hearts franchise.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, crap. Dreadpool, I was denied, reborn, and lived.
Dreadpool is over it. Dreadpool is over it.
Great topic. I guess lastly, let's just real quick. I see that Remedy is planning to remake Max Payne 1 and 2. Interesting part about that,
yes.
Rockstar owns the IP
rights
now, so as they must have something in there, unless it's going to be a co-branded game potentially, and they've secured sort of like a partnership license. I don't know how that's working, but either which way, I mean, two great games that I think will do well because for the most part they were kind of overlooked. Well, and I shouldn't say that because a lot of people really did like them. They were showcase titles when they first came out, and they certainly put Remedy on the map. They were before graphics really became like eye blistering. I remember like the original Max Payne was like, people were talking about that for a long time. It was like, between that and Far Cry and a few of those games. So now they're going to get a remake, which I think is awesome. And obviously it's going to allow a new generation of players to access games perhaps they've forgotten about or never played to begin with. Also, that third one was amazing too, Max Payne 3, if people forget. But that one was done solely not by Remedy. It was done by an internal studio at Rockstar Games. So how do you guys feel about Max Payne making a bullet time return? Seems to be the catchphrase. They even talked about it, was it in the new Matrix movie, the bullet time, and I think they referred to it there. So.
Yeah. Max Payne, man, what a good franchise. You play the cop, and that bullet time effects, the way you could just jump side to side and keep shooting, was awesome. The first two were made by Remedy, so they must have struck a licensing deal, or maybe gotten subcontracted by who is it? 2K.
Yep.
To do this, and then Max Payne 3. That's another one. I think this is going to be a good remake. I'd like to see how the bullet time looks on the upgraded consoles. It might look even cooler than it did originally, because it looked awesome back then, and hopefully it looks awesome now.
Mm-hmm. Gee, Sean
third one is definitely underrated.
Sean basically brought up exactly where I think a lot of people are. They played 3, they liked it, they got interested in the franchise, but they never did play the original, because the original 2 came out on the OG Xbox. So, and they're old enough now that, like, technically this is the kind of games I'm talking about. Like, they're old enough that they can definitely warrant the remake. Whereas you see these games nowadays, they're probably hardly even 5 years old, and people are like, "Let's remake the game, let's remaster the game." And like, the other was nothing really wrong with the old one. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I never played them. I didn't have the OG Xbox, and so I had no interest to play 3 when I didn't play.
I played a little bit of the first one. Never got, but during that year, I never had the Xbox. It was actually coming out kind of recent, so I played with something, on somebody else.
Did you guys know a little known fact that most people don't recognize? But the main character of Max Payne is actually modeled from Sam Lake. That's Sam Lake's face on the original character. Do you guys know that?
Oh, no, I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
Yep, go back and look at the original Max Payne. It's Sam Lake modeled with, like, you know how they do, like, the real face map onto the textured polygon. But yeah, it's Sam Lake.
Do you think do you think they still have the raw assets to upgrade that, or do you think they're going to take a new scan?
Great question. It's kind of like that game, was it? Not It Takes Two, but A Way Out. The Leo character was modeled after the developer.
Oh,
Leo!
No. Huh,
you didn't know that either? Yeah, the
I don't know
character is that guy. What's his name? The guy always swears at award shows.
Pharaoh.
Yeah,
Joe Ferro?
Yes, Joseph Ferres. Yes, that's who they modeled the character on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now I'm thinking about it. Now I'm looking at him like, oh my God, you're right. It is him.
Yeah. Put a couple of sideburns on him, that sort of stuff. Yeah, and away you go. I don't think he did the voice though, but I don't think so. He did obviously the facial capture, which we see that in a lot of games where they use a different person than the voice. Same with Aloy, they modeled a different person for the character and had what's her name do the voice.
Ashley Birch,
yes. She's the one that does Mrs. from Gears 5 too, right? Isn't it Ashley?
What was that?
She doesn't she do the girl Kate from Gears? Is it
Ashley Birch? No.
Who am I thinking of for that one then?
It's not Ashley Birch, because I would recognize, but she did do on the Outer Worlds. She did do Pavardi. That was actually
yes,
yeah.
Right.
Everybody's girlfriend Pavardi. Yes.
No.
Yeah.
She was my most
you know how
hated
Pavardi
character.
did not was.
Oh, that's another rant right there. How much I hated that character.
Wait.
There we go. Round 2.
I love Pavardi. Pavardi was so much fun. Because she was totally not interested in you at all. She had her own love interest, and I hit on her every dialogue option I got just to get the weird reactions out of her.
Which made it so bad, because she's constantly like, hey, I like her. Can you go tell her I like her? Can you go and make all my dating arrangements? Hey, can you go on my date for me? Because I have no fucking life. No.
Yeah. Can you make a
terrible
cake?
freaking character. No.
Yeah.
Axel,
so funny
it's your
she tells you
turn.
thank you. Like you give her the roses or the flowers, is like, oh, here. And like your option is like, so you could give me an appreciation hug or give me an appreciation kiss or something. It was just so funny.
It was terrible.
I did it for the comedic
why am I doing this?
dance.
No, I was annoyed. I'm like, why am I buying all this stuff for the girl you like? Do it your dang self. You're gonna tell me you're that incompetent that you can't buy a box of chocolates?
Come on, Terry, you gotta be a good wingman. You gotta be a good wingman.
There's being a wingman, and then there's you doing everything. She was freaking helpless. I'm surprised I didn't have to, do the romance for her too, because she wouldn't know what to do. Well, am I gonna have to marry this chick for her too? What's gonna come next on this quest line?
Okay, so before we get totally lost, and we already are, I just want to say that I don't mind games that are remade or remastered in about 10, 15-year periods because
Yeah.
that opens them up to a whole new generation of gamer. It's not about what we played before. It's about bringing in a next generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but yeah, the ones that happen every 2 or 3 years because they got a new toy to play with, i.e., a new console.
Yes.
Stop it.
Yeah, like
just
i.e. The Last of
I
Us.
agree. Yeah, like Last of Us. Yeah, they're doing it with. Aren't they doing it with Uncharted now too? They're going to remaster one of the more recent ones that came
They
out.
just did Uncharted 4. They did the remaster of Uncharted 4 and the Lost Legacy, and they put them into one bundle for the PS5.
Yeah, I'm 100% against that. Like, let a couple generations.
Now we can play it in glorious 4K. Yay! But you're gonna still pay another $50-$60.
Yeah, stop that. Stop.
You guys are a bunch of Xbox shills. I don't listen to your podcast.
Nope, it's the same. I won't buy it on Xbox either. I won't buy that recent remake on Xbox either.
No,
it looks fine the way it is. Yeah, I'm good.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm all for these kinds of older remasters, but like the early remasters, like what was it that got like they don't call them remasters now; they call them director's cuts.
Right.
You know that they're only like a year or two old. I'm not into that. No, I like the skip a generation upgrades because then I think it's significant enough. Yes. And this one has skipped 2 generations, so it should look incredibly significant. I can't wait to see some videos of it to see if I'm going to rebuy it. Yeah. Especially the bullet time, because that was my favorite thing to do in the first 2 games was just activate that bullet time.
Absolutely. I think at least a 10-year period should pass. It should be a legitimate decade before essentially you go back and revisit something you put out. You know what I mean? And especially if the modifications are just not enough to really warrant paying again. You know, now in the digital age where games can be left up on the store, it's totally different than the cartridge era that, you know, they had limited runs on games and stuff sold out and then you couldn't get it. Or when you finally found a copy, you had to pay through the bloody nose to play it. You know, now with everything like the digital storefronts, as long as you keep them up, like everybody has access, and most stuff now is either back compat and it looks better than it did anyway. If you go back on the Xbox One and you play a lot of your 360 games, for example, or the original Xbox stuff, it looks way better because of whatever they're doing with the upscaling or whatever the heck they're doing. But the games almost look like remasters with the hardware we have nowadays. So I think a lot of it becomes irrelevant. So again, it comes down to a point where it makes it where bringing them out is like legitimate, or bringing it out is just like you see the writing on the wall, the cash grab. You know what I mean? And that's where the fine line comes in. It's like, does this game warrant a remaster? You know, like a game like Gears of War, you know, when they did the Ultimate Edition, it was completely rebuilt from the ground up using Xbox One hardware, you know, off a 360 game. Right. I think the game at that point had almost been 10 years old, wasn't it? I think the original.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause that game came out in like 2016 or 17. I think when the Ultimate Edition came out, it came out right before Gears 4. And that was basically the studio's attempt as well at getting used to the engine and building it with new hardware and proving that they could make a great game. Because that was when the studio was in the transitional phase of coming over, obviously, you know, taking the franchise from the Epic team and building something of their own with Coalition and Rod's first crack at the cat, so to speak. So they did an amazing job. Like that stuff, I'm all for that stuff. Like rebuild a game and just make a great game. Absolutely amazing. Go for it. But just, you know, a little bit of resolution here and there. Oh, now this game runs at the full 30 frames because it used to hit 20 before. You're like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Give us a break. You know, either make it extraordinary or don't even waste our times.
Like Halo 2.
Right?
That Halo 2 anniversary. Oh.
Yeah, see, that was great. Like all the new textures. The game, like literally, when you looked at it, it looked new. And if you don't believe me, play the game and hit that. Was it the back button? And then it goes back to the old graphics, and you're like,
it even changes the music.
Holy hell! You're like, man, wow.
That's a good.
Yeah, it even changes the music back to the old music, which I think the older music is still better, but you know, probably licensing or whatnot kept that from being a thing.
Absolutely. But anyway, I'm excited for the Max Paynes to come back. I probably will buy them. Hopefully they come out like in a package deal and they're at least reasonably priced because I love those games. And I never did get to finish off number 2, I don't think. So, yeah, I'm all for it. And they're old enough, like I said. So maybe that means there's a new Max Payne game in the wakes as well. Something to build up on, that sort of thing. So, In the chat, if you're excited for the Max Payne remakes, put 1. If you could care less, put a 2. And with saying that, anybody, any further thoughts, or shall we wrap the show, guys and
Looking
gals?
forward to it.
All right, no more arguments incoming. People will probably stick around for that. It's like, yeah, round 3, let's go. Great stuff, everybody. Let's see a few ones up in here. That's good. Jigga J, what's going on? But anyway, let's get out of here. We'll start in the order that they appear on screen, starting with Mr. Axel 1324. Let people know what you got coming up, my brother.
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Axel1324. You can find me here and on Twitch at Axel1324 Gaming, no spaces. You can find me on Twitter and on Xbox, just Axel1324. I am the host of the Iconic Video Games Podcast every Friday night at 8 p.m. with Princess Zelda and Doggy Dog 420. And while the Halo show is going, me and Lethal Terminus are doing episode analysis every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for right now. So I'll be back on tonight.
Oh, there you go. So you're going to break down seeing Master Chief's butt cheeks in this one.
Yeah, man, we're all over it. You're going to analyze the dimples and everything.
There you go. Master Chief in the buff. Yes. I like how somebody goes, yeah, we went from seeing his face in episode 1 and now he's completely in the buff on episode 3. All the ladies are like, what?
Yeah, somebody said we're going. I saw somebody post we're going full frontal by episode 5. So yeah.
It's so funny because my wife was like, "How come they covered his stuff? They always show the girls fully naked. It's not fair." It's so funny.
Great stuff. Sir X-Man's been hanging out with us in the chat. Good to see you, Sir X-Man. Glad you could be here. Mad Max as well, Freddie Fox, and everybody else that's been here today. Jigga J. Great chat as always. Jago Kukin, Stinking Corpse, HTK, the list goes on. Casket Repair, John 907, but it's Side Boob and Butt Cheeks and Halo Show.
You go crazy.
All right. But let's continue on. Cerebral Paul, what you got coming up, sir?
I got, of course, I do my show every Monday mornings and afternoons, evenings, depending where you live, because it's on the Xbox Ambassadors channel at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. UK time. And then, of course, you can find me on Twitter at Cerebral Paul 1, which my pinned post list all the places you can find me, YouTube and Twitch, Cerebral Paul, and all the different shows I'm on all week. That's the best place to follow what I'm doing.
Absolutely. He's a busy man. Go check him out, guys. Paul's always got something great to say. It's Coolcat Terri. What's on your agenda? Are you just about through with all the house stuff, or are you still trying to get back up to speed?
Oh yeah, no, I'm never going to be quite done with that. I'm finally getting my brand new refrigerator is coming on Tuesday, so
nice.
I'm excited. I've been living without a refrigerator for over a month. So I'm excited to finally have one.
What are you using? Just those foam ice boxes or what?
No. Well, I got the cooler for things that we want to have, but no, mostly we've just been living off of things that stay in the pantry and then can just get heated up on whatever. Can't have any leftovers. No leftovers allowed. Cooler? Yeah, no leftovers allowed. You can't store anything. So
awesome.
But yeah, no, you guys can go ahead and you can catch me over on Twitter. That's Coolcat _Terri, and stay in the know when it comes to like indie games, stuff like that. I'm on Instagram if you want to be, if you're more into what's going on with my passions in real life, stuff with the house or cars. It's car season finally, so I'm gonna start getting back into hopefully doing some more car shows and stuff. So if you guys like cars, definitely check out my Instagram. And then I got my Twitch, of course. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 10, sometimes longer, depending. Not on Wednesdays, though. You can catch me there on Twitch playing stuff. So, yeah, all the good things. Check it all out.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to watch her play Kingdom Hearts, tune in 2 nights in a row. She'll get
There you go. All right. And the Kingdom Hearts expert himself, first intro, last panel, outro, Eternal Shaddai. Let people know what's happening with you, my brother.
Down with CGI. We don't want CGI. But anyways, everybody can find me at Twitter, Eternal Shaddai. On the Xbox, Eternal Shaddai. Also, sometimes I'll be streaming on Twitch at ETE Shaddai. And it was a great show. Just, have fun. And thank you, Terry. It woke me up. And let's have a great weekend. But remember, Kingdom Hearts all the way. And the funny part is, I was about to wear that shirt and the hat, and I decided not to.
So is that what it takes now? Terry's got to come in and give you a verbal slap down before you wake up?
Well, when it came down to the CGI, I'm like, okay, Kingdom Hearts always has their CGI. So, yes.
We love the debates, man. They're awesome. Yes, I always love passionate, heated arguments, regardless of who's right or who's wrong. They're always fun. They make for great entertainment. And that's why we're here. And thank you once again to all the people in the chat. You are absolutely amazing. We got 2 more episodes to roll, which would be 45 and 46 for this month. So our next show comes back at you on Easter Sunday, the 17th. Followed by one on the 24th, and that is the last time, at least, I will be hosting this show for a significant period of time. Now, whether the panel has, like I said, it's amongst them if they wish to continue doing it. They have my full blessings. But, like I said, that is completely on them, and, of course, demand from the chat as well. As far as my other show on Tuesday nights, Gaming After Dark, Titan Drago, I think, has... basically volunteered to keep it running, which is some great news. Whether he will get another panel member or what have you, I have no idea yet. That's still kind of up for debate. But anyway, I am wrapping this up here right now. Another great show as always. I've been shout out to Scrubs and to leave us as always around the 2-hour mark, and to my amazing panel. You guys are fantastic. To the chat, you guys are also absolutely dynamite. So thank you for the love, support, and coming out and hanging out with us for over 2.5 hours again on this wonderful Sunday morning. Take care, everybody. Have yourself a great day. You know where to find me, always in the gutter, and back here again, like I said, next week. Take care. Much love. Stay safe, and see you again soon.
Bye,
Bye, everybody.
Bye.